The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians. Apply today at standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Good morning, Daredevils. It's Friday the 13th.
I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious.
Friday the 13th. Were you aware of that? Today is Friday the 13th.
I'm staying at a hotel right now. There's no 13th floor because of superstition. But come on, man. The people on the 14th floor, you know what floor you're really on. If you jump out of the 14th floor, you will die earlier.
You can go to a nice hotel, the Four Seasons. It'll go 12th floor, 14th floor. And if you go, I'm sorry, why isn't there a 13th floor? Well, that's a spooky number. And if we had it, there'd be ghosts and goblins up there.
Those kids are so easy to kill, you can strangle them with a cordless phone. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, you see how they just run right into danger, these idiots? They come right, they walk right into death. They're looking for death. You know, hello, is anybody in here? Hello? I want to get naked and take a shower, guys. What's going on?
Hey, guys, I cannot believe that you are doing a show on Friday the 13th, all right? Think about all the things that could happen today. You could accidentally play a commercial in the wrong slot. The overnight guy could spill coffee on the computer. When talking up the intro of a song, you might wind up stepping on the lyrics. I mean, actually, now that I think about it, it wouldn't be that much different.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Friday the 13th. Ready for that?
the weekend.
Oh, Christ, the whole Friday the 13th thing is happening again, huh?
Make you nervous?
No. No, is anyone feeling a little iffy with it being Friday the 13th and all?
Maybe a little bit.
Are you a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
I definitely should have went to the bathroom before we started this, so I'm a little iffy. I can tell you that. A little fearful.
I understand all that. Welcome to the Half-Ass Morning Show over here. Thank you so much for being there. We certainly appreciate it. Yeah, I've never gotten too wound up one way or another when it comes to Friday the effing 13th.
Are you aware of it all day? Let's say something weird happens. We think, oh, man, it is Friday the 13th.
No. You know, I don't know how many Friday the 13th broadcasts we've done in the last 26, 7, 8 years, whatever it's been, Josh, but
I'm going to guess.
I pretty much stopped thinking about it as soon as we're done with the program.
So even if something weird happens today, it won't pop into your head?
No.
Oh. Gaslight came out of my car this morning.
Oh, my God.
I'm done for.
Yeah.
That's actually really inconvenient. You have to get gas after work.
I'm anal about that stuff. I'm like a young person. You know, young people today, their phones are always at 10% charge. The screens are always cracked.
Yep.
The gas light's always on.
That's my life, yep.
I know you well enough to know that I've described you perfectly.
I'm so bad at keeping my tank full.
Pretty much every person your age I've noticed is the same way.
Yep.
And so, when it came on, I thought, well, that's strange. I never let that happen.
You never let it get down
Never.
enough to where the light come on.
Nope.
That's insane.
I didn't even know I had a gas light. I figured I probably did.
Did it startle you a little bit?
It did, because it dinged at me.
Yeah, I bet.
Mine turns on every single time.
Yeah, I almost never let it get that low, too. But, you know, it's more my absent-mindedness. You know, you asked me, even if something bizarre happened to me today, would I think about Friday the 13th? No, and that's not to say that I completely disregard anyone's superstitions. It's just that I'm that absent-minded where I would likely call you, Josh, and say, you're not going to believe this, but I just had an arm come off. Right?
Yeah.
You would have to say, dude, it's before I would think about it, you would have to say, you know, it is Friday, and I'd say, Jesus criminy, it is. I think if you asked me if I thought generally have I been lucky or unlucky in life, I'd certainly say lucky.
Yeah, me too.
Friday the 13th is, to some people, it's all about good and bad luck. I would say I've been lucky. I've never won a damn thing in my life, but I've been a very lucky man. I've had a good time for the most part so far in my life. Decent friends, a decent family. Some don't get that lucky.
Absolutely. That's a good perspective.
You've got your health?
I can see, hear, talk, walk.
Yep.
I've had the same job for nearly 30 years. That's pretty friggin' lucky. I'm an incredible athlete. Chicks love me.
Yep.
I've been lucky.
You're humble? A lot of people don't go through life being that humble.
Andy humble. Do we have to tell the 13 joke on Friday the 13th?
I was thinking about it all morning.
Were you really thinking about it?
Yep.
Maybe we can squeeze in the 13 joke for Friday the 13th. It is one of my favorite jokes, and it's had some staying power around here over the years.
You know what? Actually, I kind of like about this joke is more people don't get it than do get it. I don't know what. That's appealing to me for some reason. But, they still play along. Like, I don't really know why I'm chanting 13. There's some story behind it, people might be thinking.
Oh, man.
And I hope nobody's disappointed when they hear the actual joke.
Oh, I don't remember it.
How do you forget the 13 joke? Oh, man. This not only became a thing here on our radio show to chant 13, it became a thing amongst my group of friends. We really embraced the 13 joke.
I can't hear the number 13 without thinking it.
Yeah. And it's also a thing, too, at different boat cruises we've had or events. People will be like, hey, can you just let me... What's the 13 thing? Why do you guys chant 13? What's the deal behind that?
Well, maybe I don't want to tell the joke. Maybe keep the mystery out there.
You can Google it. I mean, I think we should tell it, but that's everybody's call here. It's a democracy here.
It's almost like you have to be one of us. One of us.
There's another one.
One of us.
I'm not sure I understand that reference.
He's going through another one of those chants that just exists on the show.
We have a chant, one of us?
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever remember getting involved in that.
You've been involved in that. See, it's Friday the 13th. Your memory's
going, man.
Yeah.
It's gone. First the gaslight, now Nick's memory.
One of us. All right. So at one point or another we'll get... Or do you want to hear the 13 joke now?
Well, got a text saying the 13 joke just came up on the 93X subreddit. People didn't know what it was.
So there are people who don't know it.
Yeah.
But they're aware of the 13 chant.
Yes.
Okay.
Like I said, I kind of like that aspect.
Now, here's the thing.
I like that too.
It's like a secret club.
I'm going to write down, Josh, I have a question about whether the 13 joke is still appropriate.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm going to write down my concern and pass it to you. I'd love to have this conversation straight into the microphone.
I hear what you're saying.
Do you already know?
I know where you're going. Well, just make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah.
As I look at you writing with your camo Halloween hat on.
I
didn't notice that when you walked in.
I am wearing a camouflage Halloween hat. Can you read my handwriting?
Yeah, I think we're safe.
Think we're okay?
Yeah.
So it's you guys tell me it's time right now on Friday the 13th for the 13 joke.
Yeah.
I say we let it rip.
So there's a guy.
As world's okayest welder Jesus says about this. It's for the greater good.
That one I remember. the greater good. Sure, from the movie. What was that movie called?
What was that?
With the guy, Hot Fuzz. I love the greater. I don't remember anyway. One of us.
I didn't like that the first time I saw it.
You sure that was me? I was involved with the rest of you in a chant that said one of us?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't like Hot Fuzz at the first time?
I didn't, no.
Neither did I. I thought it was stupid.
Me too.
Then
because
I watched
loved Shaun of the Dead.
Yes. Shaun of the Dead is wildly hilarious. I had the same experience. I watched Hot Fuzz and I thought, well, that was a friggin' waste of time.
I did too.
And then I watched it a second time and I couldn't, since then I can't get enough of it.
I thought, what was wrong with me the first time?
I don't know.
Didn't appreciate. There's plenty of movies like that, though. Almost every Will Ferrell movie I've ever seen is like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Where I didn't like it the first time, and then I started to appreciate it after that.
So there's a guy.
Land of the Lost. You just always hate that movie.
Land of the Lost?
I just watched that movie for like the 4th time in my life. I love that movie.
What about the mosquito scene, though?
Oh,
that part's pretty funny.
I have to admit, I watched Land of the Lost, the movie, thought it was awful, never gave it a second chance.
Or what about when he says F you, Chaka? When he mouths that?
I love Chaka.
Yeah, although those don't... The movie's probably not worth your time, but those two scenes were pretty funny.
So a guy... There's a guy. All right, for those of you who don't know the 13 joke, it starts off with a guy. And he just so happens to live next door to an insane asylum. Kind of a creepy vibe, right, on Friday the 13th, Josh?
Absolutely.
He lives next door to an insane asylum. There's a big wooden fence around the asylum grounds. And then right next door, that guy that I was telling you about. He lives right next door. And one day, he hears all the folks on the other side of that fence chanting 13, 13, 13. It's roarous. He can't ignore it. Everybody on the other side of that fence is chanting 13. And so he says, all right, I gotta find out what the hell's going on over there. There's a knothole in the fence, in that wooden fence between his property and the insane asylum. And he says, I got to get a look at what's going on. So he puts his eye up against that knothole, and right when he put his eye up against the knothole, a penis comes flying through the knothole, and it stabs him in the eye. And then all the voices on the other side of the fence start saying, 14, 14, 14, 14, 14.
Dana visited that fence, but he put his mouth there.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And then I kept it there for some reason.
It was odd.
Yeah. You had to come pull me away from it.
You pricks. All right. I think I've been a pretty lucky guy. You want to talk unlucky people real quick? And I have to warn you, I didn't get much of a chance to thoroughly read, edit what I'm about to present to you. So forgive me if I'm a little sloppy, but I was just reading about some of the unluckiest people that have ever lived. And wow, there's a few in here that'll grab you. I'm not going to go through all of them, but there's a couple here that you gotta hear. A guy. Well, first off, in Spain, there's a lottery draw over there that's so massive it's called El Gordo, which translates to the fat one. Big old lottery like we have here in town. I never follow this kind of thing. What's our most current lottery number up to?
I don't really follow it either until they start talking about like $500 million, whatever. It gets a crazy numbers.
It was definitely just up there because when I was at the gas station, the line was buzzing about the Powerball.
The line was humming, you say?
Yes.
They were really cooking. So apparently $950 million was the prize in this here Spanish lottery I'm telling you about. And maybe you can explain to me how this works, but there's a tiny village called Sodeto in Spain with 70 households in this village. And I guess every household in the village bought a ticket for this $950 million first place prize. Every household but one. There was one swinging D in town who didn't buy a ticket, and everyone in town won except for this one guy.
Oh, dude.
So the entire village, minus one swinging D, got to split $950 million.
Oh. I think we've talked about this before. I remember this story.
This kind of throws me. So I guess, because and don't worry about it if it's too much of an explanation for a moron like me, but how did everybody win?
I think they probably did it as a pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I remember it as.
Oh, I see. I'm so stupid. So all 70 households, well, 69 out of 70, the one dude didn't get involved. They all put in collectively the same number.
Yeah, that's how I remember it being.
See, I hate myself.
Because that's happened to me at workplaces before when the jackpots got up to like $1 billion. People are like, hey, let's all go in on a pool. And like, I don't want to because we're not going to win. But then I'm like, if these a-holes all get rich and I don't, I will never forgive myself.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
I don't know why I couldn't get my head around that. And the story did a poor job of explaining it, and they didn't realize what a moron was on the other end, being me. So 69 households collectively played one number, and this one dude didn't get involved, They got the split $950 million. Dude just gets to now, all he can do is sit there and watch them all party their asses off.
Ashley, this is why the gas station was buzzing. According to Houndsman Jesus, somebody just won $1.73 billion on Wednesday.
Holy cow.
That'll do.
That's incredible.
Did you guys see? I didn't see much news or any news coverage on that.
No, and I haven't talked to my mom lately. Usually she gives me the update on the Powerball.
Which one was that? Was that Powerball?
I believe so.
Yeah, weird.
As we continue on with these unluckiest people who have ever lived, Josh says he might have recognized that Spanish story of the one poor bastard who didn't get involved in $950 million. You might recognize some of these others. A guy named Roy Sullivan, who was a park ranger in Virginia, and he's been struck by lightning 7 times. He holds the Guinness World Record for the amount of times lightning has struck one human being. 7 times he's been lit up like a friggin' Christmas tree.
That's impressive.
The odds of being struck by lightning once in your lifetime is roughly 3,000 to 1. Being struck 7 times has the odds of, and I don't even know if this is real, but I'm going to say it anyway. Being struck 7 times, the odds are 22 septillion to 1. But he's had that lightning bite him in the ass 7 times.
The human lightning rod.
How does he not have like superpowers yet?
Well, maybe he does, and he's keeping it all under wraps. I don't know.
I just picture him showing up to the hospital. Again? Yeah, it happened again.
Here's a woman in Louisiana who lost 4 houses to 4 separate hurricanes. 1965, Hurricane Betsy sucked her house up, spit it into the ocean. 1985, Hurricane Juan did the same thing, knocked her house smooth over. In 98, a hurricane called George destroyed her home. In 2000+5, Hurricane Katrina turned it into dust. And you would think, that's absolutely unbelievable. Give this lady a break. She did get a break. A reality TV show heard her story, built her a house with a big fat TV, new cupboards, new appliance. Just beautiful. Beautiful new house for
That's
this lady.
awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? What was it? 7 years later, another hurricane comes to town and beats that house to death.
Dude, move to like the middle of the country.
Now, knowing her luck, though, she'd move to like Kansas, and then her house would just get smoked by a tornado on day 2.
True.
So, yeah, 7 years. The last hurricane to suck up one of her houses was Hurricane Katrina in 2005. 7 years later, there she is sitting in her brand new house going, finally, I get a chance to... And another hurricane comes by, eats her house, and poops it out. All right.
People, by the way, are saying why this guy who didn't get in the Powerball pool or the lottery pool, why he did it. He didn't want to ruin the nice joke. That 69 households bought tickets for the pool. I could see, Dana, you being that guy.
I could, yeah, for sure. I'm like, I just can't do
I'm going
it.
to sacrifice this. Nobody's going to win this thing anyways. Let's keep it the nice joke. That's hilarious.
There are some times when like a tweet has like 69 people have liked it, and I think it's funny too, and I go, I'm like, no, I just got to keep it as is.
I've seen people say that. I've seen people yell at number 70.
Yeah, like,
saying,
what are you doing?
Yeah, I've seen that as well.
There's a guy in Britain that they call Calamity John. Britain's unluckiest man. He has suffered 16 major accidents in his life. He has been struck by lightning. A rock fall in a mine. A rock landed on him. I don't know what he was doing wandering. Maybe that's what he does for a living, but a rock landed on his ass while he was in a mine. He's been in a handful of car crashes. There was the time, I couldn't help it with this one. There was the time when someone catapulted a rock across town and it hit him in the mouth and smashed 8 of his teeth out. I don't know.
What's happening?
Like a random rock was chucked into, like a little kid might do. It just happened to hit him in the yap, and he has to spit 8 chiclets out onto the sidewalk. His most famous incident or accident happened when he was a teenage kid. He broke his arm falling on out of a tree, went to the hospital. On the way home from the hospital, the bus he was taking home crashed, and he broke the same arm again in a different place. And it was on a Friday the 13th.
That sucks, man.
And finally, as far as unlucky people, as soon as I started reading this one, I recognized it. I've heard this before. It's a Minnesota story. And maybe you guys tell me when I get to it. Well, I'll just give you the rough parameters of the story, and you tell me if you know it. The ice fisherman with the stick of dynamite and the dog.
No.
I don't think I know this one.
All right. It's a Minnesota story. If you're up there in Akeley, you certainly know this story. It's about a dude named Harry and his two buddies who go ice fishing on 10 Mile Lake in, by God, Akeley. They don't want to, I guess, get the ice augers out. They decided to use some dynamite. They want to create a big hole for fishing. So dude lights and then tosses a stick of dynamite across the ice. To his horror, his pet dog, Jerry, a Labrador, races across the ice in an attempt to retrieve the dynamite. He thought his master had thrown a stick for him. The dog picks up the dynamite, and I'm sure you all can guess what the dog's next move was. Bring it back to the owner.
That's a good dog.
The dog starts running back towards the three guys, wagging its tail. The three men realize they're in worse danger than they've ever been before. They're running for their lives in the opposite direction with the dog chasing them. The dog has no idea what he's doing. The men lived. Of course it thinks it's a game. It thinks it's a game of fetch. The men escaped death. The explosion, though, did blow the dog into another universe. It also cracked the ice near their pickup truck, which then sinks through the ice to the bottom of the lake. So in addition to losing his dog in dramatic fashion that day, this hairy guy became a double loser when the insurance company refused to pay on his claim for the sunken truck. Woo-wee, I had heard that one before.
Swamp Stomping Jesus said his cousin broke his collarbone snowboarding, got the cast off, went back to go snowboarding, broke the other collarbone.
Oh. That might be a sign. Time to hang up the boots.
This guy sucks at snowboarding.
Yeah, really.
We're going to have a little luck to get through everything smoothly today, because on Fridays, we always got lots to do. We got to flap gums with our bro, Andrew DePaola. He's the Minnesota Vikings long snapper, don't you know? A Pro Bowler, by God, and he and his club play in Chicago this weekend. Beautiful weather this morning, isn't it?
I thought it was a tad
just
chilly and
gorgeous.
rainy, but depends on what you're into.
I like this kind of weather, so I'm pretty happy.
So here's the deal. This is what I'm hoping for. That this mess we're dealing with today, and it's supposed to continue all day and through the night, I hope that sits right over Chicago for that ball game on Sunday. Wouldn't that be kind of fun?
A nice sloppy game.
Pouring rain, wind blowing like a son of a bitch, a fumble every other possession. That
doesn't sound right.
I like that kind of stuff. We get to hear from a listener live on air later. They'll have to make their score predictions for Sunday's ball game as part of the Purple Pick'em Challenge gimmick. We'll see where that goes. And plus, Dad Fights Part 145, Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder. So there you go.
It's a lot.
It is. And we've expressed how much we dislike it around here before. We won't bother with that information again. You know that we hate Fridays. But not Friday the 13th, because what's the slogan again, Wample?
One of us.
That didn't go anywhere, unfortunately.
Maybe I took a shot to the noggin or something.
You did play a lot of beer league hockey in the day.
And drink a lot of beer. Like every day. Every single day.
Well, yeah, that is true, because I can't seem to put that together. You're a great crowd. Good luck on Friday the 13th. For those of you who are a little worried about it, we got the highest hopes that you're going to make it smooth through. We'll take a minute off here and come back on the Half-Ass Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
And now is a great time to join their team. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians, dedicated to improving the work-life balance of their employees by providing benefits that include parental leave and 401k match. Apply today at standardheating.com.
Susie Schuster and Amy Trask present offbeat conversations and expert sports commentary as they ask, what the football?
When my family found out how long it took me to figure out why Charles Woodson named his wine Intercept, they said, there's a reason that you had trouble in school.
You know, not everyone knows, when they think of a bottle of Intercept, they don't know that I play football.
Well, what I've learned is a smooth defensive back can make smooth wine.
That's what it's all about.
What the Football with Susie Schuster and Amy Trask. The podcast is available Tuesdays, wherever you listen.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Oh, yeah, we're ready to roll with our Friday Stupid News segment. But first, I had a question texted into the program. A question about next weekend. Before the weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday next week, we're going to be involved in that Wisconsin sex party. Where the hell are we going again next weekend?
St. Croix.
Where are we going?
Turtle Lake.
Yep, St. Croix, Turtle Lake.
The Wisco sex party. And a question from a listener who must be coming out to see us. Must have rented a room. And yeah, we appreciate it. This text showed up from, I'm fat because every time I bang your mom, she makes me a sandwich Jesus. He has a question. Show of hands, he says. Who wants me to bring a round of apple pie next weekend?
Oh,
Was that yesterday we were talking about apple pie, the homemade hooch?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
That was yesterday.
Yeah.
Who wants to, I'm fat because every time I bang your mom, she makes me a sandwich Jesus to bring a batch of apple pie?
I'll take some.
Why not?
I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I'm going to go with no.
Okay, but we're outvoted 3-2. Go ahead. I'm fat because every time. Go ahead. Bring up.
So who's doing it?
Not me.
I'm going to have some.
I said I'd do it.
Yeah.
So me, Dana, and Wapple.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Show of hands. Who's brave enough to butt chug it? My hand is up.
Oh, God.
I will be butt chugging it.
I'll hold the bong.
I will have none. But by a show of hands, the answer is yes. And we appreciate the offer.
Is there alcohol in that?
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, good.
Not usually, no. I've never had any apple pie with a hint of alcohol in it.
I didn't consider that. Somebody might have thought we were being serious about that. Good call.
All right, here we go.
Sarcasm horn, if you're unfamiliar.
That was the sarcasm horn. Yeah, absolutely. If I had a kid or two, I would very likely take absolutely zero interest in my children's academics, the same way my parents took zero interest in mine when I was a kid. Those types of traits seem to repeat themselves. But let's say I did become a parent, and I did keep up with how their education was coming along. If that was the case, I would probably hope that their teachers were, at the very least, a little bit smarter and a little more mature than the children that they were teaching. Unfortunately, a teacher in Kansas really can't say with a straight face that he was any smarter or more mature than the children he was teaching. He was fired from his teaching job because he was making TikTok videos on the job where he was crop dusting his students with terribly smelly gas.
Teachers, if a student is annoying you, I crop dust them, and then I just let it stew, and then I walk away and I go, oh my God, it stinks over there. And then they have to sit with it. And you know what? They can't fire me because they need me too badly.
That's him right there.
He scares me.
It says here in the story that he would intentionally hold in his, quote, milky, lactose-intolerant farts so he could dump them on his students.
I never need your farts described as milky ever again.
Stephen Taylor is this giant 9-year-old's name. He's been a teacher for 6 years. He was fired after someone or another saw the videos that he was making in class with the farting on the students. The school board he was working for didn't see the humor in his TikTok videos. Oh, God, here we go. The story says that Stephen is also a stand-up comedian. And you heard him right there. I save up big, milky farts. I drop them silently.
Yuck.
He says, because I'm an adult and I know my body. Now, in case you're new around here, according to the Urban Dictionary, crop dusting is, quote, the art, not the art, God help us, if it was ever referred to as an art. The act.
It's a fart.
The act of breaking wind as you walk past a group of people or through a room, thereby leaving a trail of gas behind you.
I learned that term from a woman at Burnsville Center many years ago, where she said, I just crop dusted that hall, and I had no idea what she was talking about. And she explained it to me, and I thought, that's fantastic. What a great term.
You know, some folks don't even need the gas to leave a wake of smelly air behind them, but that's a completely different conversation. Hilariously and ironically, this Stephen Taylor, is that what I said his name was?
Yep.
The teacher. He signed off in one of his videos by saying, and you know what? They can't fire me because they need me too badly. Well, guess again, Holmes. After the local school board launched an investigation into this nonsense, he said he never actually went ahead and farted upon his students. It was all just a joke.
I don't believe him.
It's all part of his comedy routine. He tried to gain sympathy in a very predictable way by trying to place blame on how little he is paid. This is what he was telling the school board when the S hit the fan here. He said, the reason I'm doing comedy on TikTok is to make money because you only pay me $45,000 a year and I work all the time. Now, it's true that teachers aren't paid enough. Who could argue that? But, dude, we're not talking about pay here. We're talking about a grown man farting in the faces of children while he's supposed to be working. He was asked to remove the fart videos. He refused.
Yeah, that's odd.
Seems like a very simple request.
Yeah, I think if my employer were to say, hey, you know what, that's a bad look for us, you can't post that, I would take that down.
Mm-hmm. He was given the choice to remove the videos from his TikTok account or be fired. He chose to be fired. And he told the school board, you're going to vote to fire a teacher who has incredible evaluations, great relationships with students, and cares deeply about their success. I am that teacher, and this is all because of TikTok. Well, yeah, sort of. I mean, dude, I'm sorry your feelings are hurt, but if I'm on that school board or if I'm a parent in that town, I'm not comfortable with an adult on staff behaving like that. You're not these kids' funny, drunk uncle on Thanksgiving. You're their teacher.
Air Filter Jesus said, if Mr. Funny Guy crop dusted my kid in school, I would fist dust him in the parking lot. And here's my favorite line. Do your damn job, Don Rickles.
That's good. That's beautiful. Yeah, I'm not saying the guy should have been fired. I'd give him a second chance. He chose to be fired. I would give him a second chance and just say, dude, wafting farts in kids' faces is gross and disturbing.
I totally agree with you. I believe that there's not enough second chances. I mean, he should have known better, certainly, but the fact that he was defiant afterwards, obviously, he dug his own grave.
Yeah.
And then farted in it.
And he did. He dug his own grave, and then he farted on it.
He's wallowing in his own grave farts.
I like the teachers who knew how to loosen up and have a few laughs. Absolutely. But now,
we definitely had some teachers where today it wouldn't work, their teaching style, whether it was very angry, where they'd throw stuff at you. We also had some that had some dirty humor and didn't mind swearing at all in class. And obviously nowadays, everybody's got a cell phone. That'd end up on TikTok and they'd be gone.
We had a few, wild cards whether they be the angry one or the slightly wild one. But most of them were just boring dicks, my teachers. Boring dicks. Now, here's the shame of going through all this jaw-jacking about this story. This all might have been one big fat gimmick to get us all interested in his comedy act. I don't know. I could be wrong. According to the story, this Stephen Taylor signed with an agent the day he was fired, and he has some gigs coming up. He's calling it the Teacher Shortage Tour. Rap-ba-ba-da-da-da-da. Stephen Taylor, everybody. Rat-da-da-da-da-da.
80s made me, 90s raised me, Jesus said. Teachers aren't allowed to post pictures or videos of students without signed consent, so that might have been part of it as well. The guy's still a moron.
He feels sorry for his students. He does. For losing him.
Oh my gosh, I hate him.
But...
That's great. I wish I had that attitude in life.
Right.
The real victims are the kids, because I'm not going to be there anymore.
But he couldn't sacrifice his values and delete his TikToks. Hey, dude, you got to do what makes you happy.
That's a good point. I mean, if that's more important to him, that's more important to him.
There you go.
You just go in and not put in an effort. That's what you do when you're underpaid.
Oh. All right, this is shady. This sounds shady to me. Doctors at a hospital in Ohio propped a dead female patient up in what they call here a fake alive pose to fool her family into thinking she was really alive. That's not right. The story says the lady upped and died during a routine surgery, but the hospital pulled off a something about Bernie type of a move to make her look alive, and then had her family come into the room to see her after she was dead, but the doctors presented her to her family as a living person.
Oh,
are you following what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The words that are coming out.
No, she's just in a coma. Don't worry.
She's not even in a coma. She's just really sleepy,
Why does she feel so cold?
That's bizarre and cold-blooded to me. Big lawsuit going on here. According to the local news over there, where did I say they were? Ohio.
Ohio, yeah.
The patient lady, a 65-year-old woman, word is she was in good health when she walked into a place called Adena Health System in Ohio for what should have been a routine heart catheterization, whatever that is. It doesn't sound nice, dealing with the heart. All of that stuff is kind of scary. But anyway, it was supposed to be routine. The woman's family says there's something shady about the hospital records and the death certificate and her time of death. This might get a little confusing, but I'm going to go ahead anyway. They say her medical records indicated she checked out at 1 p.m., but her death certificate says 3 p.m., which is the time her family was brought into the room and urged to take her off life support. And they must have been saying, hold up, life support? I thought this was a routine gimmick. Her family's demanding the truth behind what happened leading up to her death and why she was propped up to look fake alive when she had been declared dead 2 hours before. Like I said, it's all very confusing. The woman received surgery from a doctor named Jared Betts. That's kind of similar to my doctor's name, isn't it, Josh?
Yeah, you've mentioned your doctor.
My doctor, Vinny Boom Butts.
He's more professional than this guy.
Oh, no doubt about it. Jared Betts is the name of the doctor. He's a cardiologist who has faced previous questions over his credentials. The story says that Betts has performed at least 3 aortic valve replacement procedures, despite not being qualified to perform such an operation.
He's operating on hearts? Just willy-nilly?
Yeah, and people are going to, hey, we don't know if he's fully qualified, but he's on the schedule.
The leg bone's connected to the hip bone. The hip bone's connected to my wristwatch.
So good.
It's a line from an old Simpsons episode. I laughed my ass off. What was his name? Dr. Nick?
Mm-hmm. Hi, everybody.
The knee bone's connected to the something. The something's connected to the red thing. The red thing's connected to my wristwatch.
So there you go. Big scandal over there at the doctor's office.
I wonder what the thought process was. We got to prop her up to buy us enough time to get the hell out of here.
Mm-hmm. Man.
They're going to figure it out at some point.
Yeah, that's true.
Prop her up. Sit her up higher. Straighter. Put the remote in her hand.
Get the sunglasses.
All right, let's just do our best to humor this lady. Give her the attention she so desperately needs, and then hopefully she'll leave us alone for at least a little while. A woman claims she's been banging a ghost for the last 20 years, but the relationship turned sour when she caught a glimpse of his terrifying ghost face. She goes by the name of Paula.
How many sexual partners, Nick, have you had?
Oh, my God.
Where it was far later that you actually saw their face for the first time?
That is a great question.
Or maybe just a percentage. I don't know if you can count that high.
A percentage?
Yeah, just give me a percentage.
Where we were engaged in intercourse.
Yeah, I mean, you did some foul, filthy things. You said some stuff that maybe later on you kind of cringed a little bit, but you had never seen her face.
And it dawned on me, oh, my God, we've been here for 2.5 hours, and I have no idea what this woman looks like in her face.
Yes.
The percentage, I'd say 35.
35%.
35% of my sexual encounters, I had no idea what they looked like until we were 2 hours in.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That is. Paola is her name. Been banging a ghost. She says her relationship with the ghost started when she was younger, and it led to 2 decades of passionate sex action. She fell in love
It happens.
with the ghost, but then she got a gander at this guy's mug, and it scared the hell out of her. She said her boyfriend there, he had fangs and the face of a gargoyle. That never stopped me.
No. If anything, you were willing to fall on that grenade.
Very selfless.
A former coworker of ours, she filed down some teeth for fangs.
Oh, that the one that you had a little encounter with?
That's the one.
Word.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that when she carved her teeth up to look like fangs.
She sure did.
Did it look cool?
I thought it was cool. It was during the Twilight time, meaning when those movies were huge.
Yes. Okay.
That's weird. But, so this gal, I guess she didn't want no butterface. So that's enough. That's enough of this lady. She'll be back. Don't worry about that. She'll come back with something else in order for the internet to pay attention to her. She'll have a cannabis company up and running within a month.
That ghost deserves better anyway.
I hope that ghost finds love.
She's going to go into the cannabis business with, I don't know, Michael Phelps and
Ghost-faced killer.
Spud
Machine
Webb.
Gun Kelly.
So here we are getting closer to Halloween. Oh, and it sounds like the scary clown running through the streets bit is still going in some neighborhoods.
I don't like that bit.
I thought that was over. A supposedly creepy clown has been stalking the streets of a village called Skelmorley in Effin, Scotland. And the clown is even daring the cops to try and catch him.
That clown thing was odd. What was that, 2016 or so?
Yeah.
It seemed like there was story after story after story.
It was so stupid.
It was a weird time to be alive.
One was right over in Wisconsin, I feel like, too.
What about Wisconsin?
I thought a town in Wisconsin had one of the creepy clowns wandering.
A lot of clowns in Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Shysters in Florida, clowns in Wisconsin. You can count on both. So whoever this dork is that's putting his clown face on is really dialed into this bit. He made a video for social media where he's hanging around town in the dark. He's holding a balloon and all the other typical clown routines. He recites a poem. It's hard to understand with his thick Scottish delivery, but he has a poem. He says things like, well, 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 I've made the news again. And there's a big effect on his voice where he sounds, evil.
Or maybe Polly's right. Perhaps I've gone away. Too much heat. What a stupid thing to say.
It is totally not as scary because of the accent.
That's true.
To me, it was like I was watching Braveheart, but I'm underwater.
Yeah, the accent kind of kills it.
Yeah.
It does. It absolutely does. You're
tough
right.
Guy.
Well, I've made the news again. Should I smile for the cameras with my idiot grin? It's not that scary. Not scary at all. You sound like Willie the Landscaper or whatever his name is. The local cops are aware of this guy. I guess he's done this act before. He was doing something similar a couple years ago. Not everyone is so terrified, or maybe I would guess that no one is terrified, but he wants them to be. Several commenters on Facebook, folks who live in the neighborhood, they love it. They like it. They think it's fun. Now, the story ends with this here comment. It says, let's just hope for his sake that he doesn't meet the same fate that several of the clowns did back when this silly bit took off in popularity back in 20+16. Now, I clicked on a link or two to find out what that meant, and I found a couple of stories where nerds dressed as clowns doing this same routine eventually got tuned up by folks in the neighborhood who were tired of putting up with it. We're talking about baseball bat beatings like in Goodfellas.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, there was a group of guys who were calling themselves clown hunters. They were looking for these folks,
Oh, I
searching
forgot
them out.
about that. yeah.
Everybody's nuts. If you're a clown or a clown hunter, just go back to your home, sit down, turn on the television, have a beer, for Christ's sake. I didn't know these goofy clowns who were running around towns got whooped.
Wouldn't that suck? You're out there for the social media attention, you get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
On live.
And that's the video that goes the most viral on your account is you just getting your ass kicked by baseball bats. All your attempts at comedy and other bits just don't work at all, but everybody's loving and reposting you getting your ass beat.
Oh, wow. I didn't know they got tuned up like that. Like Tommy when he's at Henry's bar, in Goodfellas, and he runs into that old friend of his, and the guy keeps talking about how he was the best shoe shine kid in town. That didn't end well. Goodfellas.
What about the baseball bat scene in Casino?
Oh, that's where I got mistaken. Yeah, it was Casino where the baseball bats came into play.
Yeah.
Or the vice scene in Casino.
The vice scene?
Puts his head in one of those vices and tightens it.
Oh,
His eyes are like bulging out.
Oh,
And the
gosh.
eyes
I'm
fell
never
out.
going to watch that.
The eyes fell out.
I couldn't believe that I was terrified of, oh my God, I just forgot his name. The little guy.
Pesci?
Yeah, Joe Pesci.
He was a tough guy in that movie.
I thought he was hilarious. But yeah, in that movie, holy cow, he was intimidating.
We're going to keep with the clown thing here for a few more minutes. What the hell happened here? Here's a headline you don't hear often. A professional wrestler with an in-ring clown persona was arrested this week for fighting an autistic man in a parking lot earlier this summer.
That's a hell of a headline.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Pretty brutal.
I think Tony Khan just threw away his phone number, don't you think, Wapple?
Oh, totally.
You're not going to believe this effing story. This wrestler's name is Michael Keane. He's 42 years old from Muncie, effing Indiana. Weren't we just talking about Muncie, Indiana for some reason?
We sure as heck were.
What were we talking about?
There was a story out of Muncie, and then we were talking about Armed and Famous, Eric Estrada.
Oh,
he was a reserve police officer in that show.
All right, Michael Keane here, this 42-year-old wrestler. He performs professionally as Creepy the Clown. He wears a grotesque style getup, is how they say it here. He wears heavy white makeup, a red nose, a big red hairdo. His outfit is all blood splattered. The evil clown gimmick.
Yep.
He was arrested a couple days ago on one count of battery of an endangered adult. This nightmare incident happened back on the night of August 12th at the local county fairgrounds. Man, the local county fairgrounds has got a wrestling show. I've been to a few of those, and you just cannot beat that type of entertainment.
So fun.
I mean, any bar, Sometimes bar parking lots have the local show. I mean, of course, we all know of the massive First Avenue shows, but, get on the internet and look up some of these local shows. They're so much fun. This one went real sideways. Cops say the altercation began when a group of people at the wrestling show complained about the autistic dude being, quote, loud and boisterous. He was pissing some people off at the show. Some back and forth name calling happened. So, the autistic man was leaving the fairgrounds after the show, and so was Creepy the Clown. He was still in his Creepy the Clown getup, too. Apparently, Creepy the Clown, he wanted in on this dust-up between the autistic dude and the other group of angry people I was telling you about. So Creepy the Clown dumped an elbow into the back of the autistic dude's noggin. And then he shouted, "You want to call someone a bitch? Call me a bitch." After the alleged elbow to the dome, the autistic man spun around and punched Creepy the Clown in the face with a can of Coca-Cola.
Oh.
At that point, the whole scene comes uncorked. The one-on-one parking lot brawl between Creepy the Clown and the autistic dude was on. How effing ugly does this all sound? Man.
That's bad. Didn't you have a friend who unknowingly fought a blind guy, or maybe it was a friend of your dad's or a relative?
Yes. I'll get to that in just a minute. But I would imagine that's not the image the local wrestling company was trying to put on that night.
I would think not.
So the two of them brawl like hell. The autistic dude's caregiver tried to intervene, but the crowd wouldn't let him. They held that guy back and said, "Let him go." Once the fight was finished, the autistic man suffered a broken nose and several cuts on his face and forehead. After all this was over, once the cops got a hold of Creepy the Clown on the telephone the next day, he denied that he was even there.
It was just a dude in a clown suit, man.
Some other wrestling clown. The company that put on the show there at the fairgrounds, called Indiana Powerhouse Wrestling, said that Creepy is barred from working with the company from here on out. Whew, come on. What an awful scene.
I wonder if I would have been there if I would have thought that was part of the show at first for a second.
Oh, you know what? That's a good point.
Maybe for 1 second. I mean, the show was over.
Oh, it was over
Yeah,
already.
this was at the end. Everyone's walking to the parking lot.
That was probably the best match that they got to see all night.
If I saw a dude dressed as a clown fighting in a parking lot, I might at first think, oh, this is somebody's making a prank video or something. But yeah, it sounds like there was a lot of anger there, so you'd figure it out quickly.
Can you imagine this clown dude trying to get any gigs in the future?
Oh, no.
He calls the promoter and says, hey, man, you need any wrestlers tonight? I'm available. And the promoter says, oh, yeah, maybe. What's your character? Oh, I'm a clown. Oh, yeah? What kind of clown? Well, I'm creepy, and then after the match, I beat the living hell out of special people in the parking lot.
He still got Coca-Cola emblazoned on his face. Just a backwards Coca-Cola.
I mean, yeah, he got smoked with that pop can. Just pop.
What a dope. You know, hopefully it's one of those things where he immediately realized, I'm an idiot.
I messed up
Or
here.
feel terrible the next day.
This is what I remember about what you brought up a minute ago, Josh, about a blind dude. Yes, there was an incident when I was a kid where there was a get-together, and one of the folks involved in this get-together was legally blind. What I also heard was that this guy was also a massive a-hole. He was just not a very likable guy, and he started trouble as soon as he had 3-4 beers in him. That's what he did. So he started trouble at this get-together with a guy that I know, and it turned into a fist fight. And the guy that I know, he won that fist fight quite easily. He was thinking, Jesus balls, I'm the second coming of Muhammad Ali over here. This guy's got no chance again. And he had to be pulled aside and said, hey, whoa, hang on a second, this guy can't see. He can't see. Oh, I'm sorry. But don't get this twisted. The dude who got tuned up asked for it, and he repeatedly asked for it over and over and over again. Nobody was terribly mad at the guy that I know for beating this guy up.
Gotcha.
He had it coming.
Oh, like a son of a... All right, before we go, here's something everybody should get a look at. A video of an unknown driver in Florida is all over the stupid internet because whoever this person is, they went ahead and strapped an absolutely massive pile of random items to the top of their car, and they were spotted driving around the streets of Orlando, Florida.
This is up on 93x.com.
You know, I get confused on, especially if they're kind of messed up beforehand, how to use ratchet straps. This person could teach that lesson.
Yeah, do they?
I have no idea how they were able to maintain, how none of that fell off. Or maybe some did, but, I mean, it's incredible how much is still on there.
Very
Absolutely.
impressive.
There's chairs, bicycles, boxes, a microwave, a ceiling fan, more chairs, more bicycles. You won't believe it till you see it. How much this sumbitch strapped up to the top of his vehicle, and he was still somewhat able to get around town.
I mean, it looks like a garbage truck just unloaded on top of it.
Yeah.
Can't figure out how they were able to make this work.
He only could make it work because once he was done strapping all of it in, he hit it twice and said, that isn't going anywhere.
That's right. That's the last thing you have to do. That's not going anywhere. Yeah. I've done that before, and it went somewhere, unfortunately.
Did it?
Yeah. Outside of Chicago, it went somewhere.
Oh, no.
Whoever this sumbitch is, yeah, he's got skills, Josh. You ain't kidding. No way I could keep all that garbage to sit up on top of the car. I'd be found dead, trapped underneath all of it, you know, if I tried to get all of that up on the lid of my motor vehicle.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Boys, this is one of those seasons, you know, nothing went way early. We battled through injuries. Yeah. We grinded. I wasn't even here. I'm happy to be back. Yeah. Seventh time. All right. Don't take that for granted. On 7. Everybody pop these mother. 2, 3.
Potty mouth.
Yeah.
That's Justin Verlander of the really overplayed Houston Astros. I've had enough of the Houston Astros. Justin Verlander with his filthy mouth talking to his teammates after they eliminated the Twins the other day. That's the first time I've heard the man speak. His voice does not match his appearance. Anyone else think the same thing?
I'd agree, yeah.
I don't know. I guess I just heard him speak.
Kind of up here. Hey, guys, I'm Justin Verlander. I'm hollering. I figured he'd be more one of these guys.
Yeah.
He probably just got a sext from Kate Upton or something like that. He's a little worked up.
Yeah, he's busy.
Justin Verlander. Yeah. There you go. We'll stay with baseball. So long, Atlanta Braves. The defending National League champion Philadelphia Phillies are going back to the National League Championship Series. After eliminating Atlanta in 4 games, the Phillies won at home last night by a final of 3-1. That high.
2 out, 1 and 2 the count. And did he go? He did! It's over! The Philadelphia Phillies are headed back to the National League Championship Series!
It was fun to watch that crowd. Not a big Phillies guy by any stretch of the imagination, but I got to give their crowd the credit they deserve. They go banana ass.
They do.
They make a lot of noise. They raise a lot of hell. Atlanta, I mean, this was a club that just beat the living hell out of the baseball all summer long. The last 2 games of this series, they scored 1 and 2 runs. They just never got anything going with all those big bats. Nothing. So the NLCS starts on, how do I say it, Monday. The ALCS on Sunday. We'll get to those details in a little bit. Pigs won the opener, 2-0. We'll talk about the Pigs when Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder jump in here in about a half hour. Josh's news is coming up.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
And now is a great time to join their team. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians, dedicated to improving the work-life balance of their employees by providing benefits that include parental leave and 401k match. Apply today at standardheating.com.
You loved Lala Kent on Vanderpump Rules. Now get to know her on Give Them Lala.
I used to be so down with dudes giving me pet names right off the bat. The second a dude, I first meet him and he calls me baby, I'm like, and we're done here. Goodbye.
Really?
Yeah, don't call me babe, baby, boo, bye.
Interesting. That's
but
a big
I
red
can
flag.
call them boo because I call everybody boo.
What if that's their excuse?
Yeah.
That's funny.
No, you don't. You're a man. You move different than me.
Watch what Lala is talking about on YouTube or search for Give Them Lala wherever you listen.
Half-assed Morning Show. 93X.
We know incidents like what happened today are scary and unsettling for the community. We want everybody to know that we are working as quickly as possible to provide answers. This is still a very active scene, and there is still a lot of information that we don't know. Our crime scene team is still working to process the scene.
Well, this sucks. 5 local law enforcement officers shot and wounded yesterday morning in an incident near Princeton. The officers, all members of the Sherburne County Drug Task Force, were shot by a suspect while executing a search warrant at a Benton County residence.
At one point, the officers came under fire. Multiple officers returned fire, and officers retreated to outside of the residence.
3 of the wounded officers are with the Sherburne County Sheriff's Office. 1 is with the Princeton Police Department. Another, a member of the Elk River Police Department.
5 members of the task force sustained non-life-threatening injuries and were transported by ambulance or air ambulance for medical treatment. Because all were working in an undercover capacity, I cannot provide their names.
The suspect, who was also injured, was taken into custody hours later.
This has been a difficult day for us in Benton County. We are grateful that the incident did not result in loss of life or further injury. We're also grateful for the bravery and professionalism of all those law enforcement professionals that were involved in this incident.
The Minnesota Police and Peace Officers Association released a statement which read, "Today's injuries once again illustrate the increased and grave dangers posed to law enforcement and communities. Our thoughts and prayers are with the responding officers for answering the call in the face of danger and putting their lives on the line to help victims of crime and keep the public safe." Well said. And to tragically illustrate that point, a Philadelphia police officer was killed, another injured inside an airport garage as they attempted to stop a car theft late last night.
2 Philadelphia police officers assigned to the airport were arriving at work, parked in the parking garage at that location. From what I understand, they exited their vehicles. At that point, they observed a few individuals breaking into another vehicle within the parking garage area. The officers approached to essentially interrupt or disrupt and investigate what's going on. At that point, the suspects opened fire on the officers, striking one of our officers multiple times in the upper torso.
Philadelphia police have been shot at multiple times just this month, including 3 times only last week. Our thoughts are with all of those departments. A New York City police officer lost his left ring finger up to the first knuckle when a reckless driving suspect bit him.
Oh.
The episode started shortly before midnight, September 20th. An officer spotted 28-year-old Lenny Rodriguez Cruz driving with plates not registered to that vehicle. The officer tried to pull him over, but he sped off and drove through a park, scattering parkgoers as they ran to safety. Rodriguez Cruz kept driving and hit 4 vehicles, including an unmarked police car, which was part of a barricade set up to stop him. When officers finally pulled him out of his car, his breath smelled of alcohol, his speech slurred, and there was a cup containing an alcoholic beverage inside. Officers took him to the local police station where he spit on the sergeant and then bit the sergeant's fingertip off. He could face up to 25 years in prison.
Josh, wouldn't you say that's a pretty solid sign that you're not well?
When you bite a piece of another person's body off?
Just violent biting in general.
I mean, we all have our days where we #can't even, but yeah, that's extreme.
That's a little much.
A man was arrested after allegedly dousing an NYPD officer with rubbing alcohol in an East Harlem subway station and then threatening to light the cop on fire. Thankfully, he didn't. 2 officers in plain clothes were patrolling the station about 2 a.m. when the man approached them in a combative manner. This was early Tuesday morning. 58-year-old James Murphy pulled out a bottle of rubbing alcohol and splashed one of the cops with it. Next, he held out a lighter and threatened to light the cop on fire. Then, suddenly, he fled the scene without following through with the disturbing threat. The 2 officers followed the suspect into the subway tunnel where they arrested him. Both cops were taken to the hospital to be treated for minor injuries. One of them was reported stinging in the eyes from rubbing alcohol. Murphy has more than 24 prior arrests on his record.
24. I think we're about done with him.
Yeah, thank goodness he's still out there enjoying
Let's
our
away.
freedoms. A businesswoman in Florida learned the hard way that state troopers don't like it when a civilian impersonates one of their own. The weird ordeal started in northwest Miami-Dade on Tuesday. 2 Florida Highway Patrol officers reported seeing a Dodge Charger traveling in the opposite direction, and it looked the part. It was painted in the same black and bronze paint scheme as a Florida Trooper Patrol car is. It had a light bar even, but the officers noticed the side decals were a little wrong. They read FSO Guard with a badge made to look like a real police shield.
A Charger that basically looked like a patrol car, but it wasn't one of our vehicles.
When questioned, troopers say the woman first said her vehicle already had the trooper color scheme when she purchased it from a car auction. But after the officers told her the FHP doesn't sell any of its used units with the same color scheme, she admitted she had her North Miami-based security company vehicle wrapped in black and tan because she had seen the patrol units and fell in love with the color. She also confessed she had the blue and white light bar installed on her car's roof.
Once he saw that, he said, hey, there's something wrong here. It has blue lights. It had a siren. The colors are the same as ours. And then it's got FSO Guard. But clearly, if you're being stopped by that vehicle and you're being stopped, you're going to think it's a patrol car. So that person was arrested.
Her Dodge Charger was also impounded.
Nah, she just likes the color scheme. And then she likes pretty lights.
It was a sweet-looking car.
Yeah, it did look pretty cool.
Which no longer belongs to her.
You don't often hear about ladies pulling that nonsense off.
No, not at all. It's usually exclusive to us dudes.
It's usually the donkeys, the dudes.
A Vadnais Heights lawmaker had a blood alcohol level 2 times the legal limit and told the Chisago County Sheriff's deputy she thought she was in St. Paul. She was not. Shortly before 2 a.m. Monday morning, the Chisago County Sheriff's Office received a report of a red sport utility vehicle all over the road and speeding on Interstate 35 approaching North Branch. Then a deputy was dispatched at 2:05 a.m. on a report of an SUV off the road. There, the deputy saw a red SUV driving slowly on the shoulder. As he pulled up behind the freshly damaged vehicle, it came to a stop with what appeared to be a flat tire. The deputy asked the driver what was going on, and she said she's not sure, and she was having trouble getting home. The deputy asked if she knew where she was, and she said St. Paul. Well, she was wrong. She was actually about 40 minutes away. The 38-year-old lawmaker showed signs of impairment during a field sobriety test and at the jail registered a .16.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I know a guy. You've met him a handful of times too, Cubby, and I love the guy. And he has dried up. He went into the spin dry many years ago, and he knew he had to cut it out with the drinking. But one of his great moments during his drinking career, he got a DWI in Brainerd. And when the cop asked him where he was close. He said Plymouth.
Whoa. Well, and then the guy we used to work with who was drinking downtown was on his way home to, I think he lived in Minneapolis at the time.
Yes, he did.
And when the cop pulled him over, he asked, well, where do you think you are right now? He said, Minneapolis. And he said, no, you were in Medina. Or was it Hamel? It was around that.
He was in the parking lot of Medina Ballroom.
Okay, so Medina, yeah.
He somehow made
and
it.
He thought he was in downtown Minneapolis.
He somehow made it down 55 all the way from Minneapolis to Medina Ballroom. And he was like driving around in circles in an empty parking lot.
Oh, no.
Just unbelievable. You know, at the time, I lived about 1 block from Medina Ballroom. And I told him, you dumb bastard, if you could have come to a little bit, you could have called me out. I come and got your ass. He got pinched.
A fire at a home in Farmington over the weekend is believed to have been caused by fireworks. On Saturday, around 9:08 p.m., the Farmington Fire Department was sent to a house where the rear of the home was fully engulfed. In total, 31 firefighters assisted to contain the blaze with crews from Farmington, Lakeville, and Apple Valley. The cause of the fire was determined to be discarded fireworks material next to the rear of the home. Thankfully, everyone inside was already out of the house when firefighters arrived. Then in Maple Grove, a car crashing into a garage caused a fire. Officers were dispatched to a fire about 11 a.m. yesterday after a report a car crashed into a home and the driver was still in the vehicle. Upon arrival, they found a man unconscious behind the wheel.
Oh.
The Maple Grove Fire Rescue Department was able to get the fire under control, at which point the man was pulled from the vehicle and transported to the hospital. 2 officers also went to the hospital for smoke inhalation, but they're expected to be okay. A preliminary investigation shows the person may have suffered a medical event prior to that crash. The incident does remain under investigation. Hope they're okay as well.
Yeah.
There's a solar eclipse tomorrow. People from Oregon to Texas will get the full thing. The rest of us will get a partial eclipse, a.k.a. a half solar boner. The entire event will last 2 to 3 hours, but the full eclipse will be a lot shorter. In the best spots, just 4 to 5 minutes tops. You can see what they're calling the Ring of Fire eclipse tomorrow between 10:24 a.m. and 1:16 p.m. in Minnesota.
Are you going to get out the stethoscope? What do they call that thing?
Yeah, it's a stethoscope. Yeah, if I remember, I'm not set alarm to remember. I'm pretty sure I'm going to forget.
Yeah, I probably.
You kind of like that kind of stuff, don't you, Cubby?
Oh yeah.
Didn't you? What was the thing where you remember when the sun disappeared or it caught on fire or whatever a few years ago? You were on the front lines for that.
I was. I went out and watched that.
What was that gimmick again? I can't remember.
Well, it was another eclipse.
Oh, same thing. Oh, okay.
Was that like the super rare one that happens like once every million years or something ungodly like that?
I think something like that. Yeah.
I remember because there were people that were driving down to Kansas because they would have like a better wide open view of the thing.
We had listeners text in and said they did just that.
Did they?
Yeah, and I did exactly what they recommend. I didn't use any eye protection, and I looked directly at it.
That's exactly what I did.
And did it affect you? Because it did me, and I thought, oh no, I blinded myself.
Immediately after for a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I was like that for me too. I had maybe 10 minutes of panic.
I thought, here we go.
It's one of those things where it's like, there's no way I'm going to be dumb enough to dang it, I just looked.
A weekend traffic note, a section of northbound 35W between Minneapolis and Roseville will be closed this weekend. The Minnesota Department of Transportation is closing the interstate between the 26th Street overpass in Minneapolis and then 280 in Roseville to construction crews, so the construction crews can make bridge, pavement, and guardrail repairs and remove some graffiti. The closure will start tonight at 10 and then ends by 5 a.m. Monday. MnDOT recommends drivers detour onto eastbound 94 to 280.
That's a big stretch of road, Minneapolis to Roseau?
Did I say Roseau? Roseville. Did I really say Roseau?
No, I think I heard Roseau.
I heard Roseville.
Oh, okay, good.
I'll take you from Minneapolis to Roseau.
How the heck did I do that? New music out today includes Beartooth's 5th studio album, The Surface. Following up last year's Predicament Radiant EP, Crosses, featuring Deftones vocalist Chino Moreno. They released their sophomore album today, Good Night, God Bless, I Love You, Delete. And 23 years since the release of Ready, Sex, Go, Marvelous 3 have returned with 4. You can find the rest of the week's new music on 93x.com and then follow the 93x Notable New Releases playlist on Spotify. New to streaming this weekend, Damsel, debuting today on Netflix. Starring Millie Bobby Brown, Angela Bassett, and Robin Wright, a young woman agrees to marry a handsome prince, only to discover it was all a trap. The royal family recruited her as a sacrifice to repay an ancient debt. On Apple TV Plus, Lessons in Chemistry, Brie Larson stars as a frustrated 1960s scientist who lands a gig hosting a TV cooking show, which she uses to educate viewers about chemistry. Adapted from the novel of the same name, Lessons in Chemistry also stars Beau Bridges. Now on Peacock, true stories of the slashers, psychos, demons, and ghosts which terrorize the nation's suburbs, told by everyday people who survived them in John Carpenter's Suburban Screams. Finally this weekend on Disney Plus and Hulu, a reboot of the 1995 series Goosebumps. The Season 2 premiere of Shining Vale, starring Courtney Cox and Greg Kinnear on Starz. Creepshow Season 4 on Shudder and AMC Plus. Season 49 of Saturday Night Live with host Pete Davidson. Season 2 of Billy the Kid starts Sunday on MGM Plus. And also Sunday, Season 7 of Rick and Morty. Dominic West, Detective Jimmy McNulty on The Wire, 54 on Sunday.
That guy's awesome.
Yeah, well, I love that character.
Me too.
Former twin Boof Bonzer, 42 tomorrow.
Sweet.
Former WWE beauty Stacy Keibler, 44 tomorrow.
Goodness gracious of all that is holy in the world.
Former Timberwolf Fred Hoiberg, 51 today.
Isn't that something? I think I might have something or another to say about Fred Hoiberg when we talk sports here in a few minutes.
I believe you do.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah, you do. Sacha Baron Cohen, a.k.a. Ali G and Borat, 52 today. And also singer Sammy Hagar, who can still bring it, even though he's been getting a senior discount at Hy-Vee for the last 16 years. He's 76.
Damn.
Congratulations to Rubber Roller Jesus and Instant Eggs Jesus, welcoming their new baby to the Brotherhood, Donnie Jr. Jesus. Happy anniversary tomorrow to Razorback Jesus and his better half. And happy 13th on Friday the 13th, no less, to Ira from Houndsman Jesus. And that's 93X News.
The Minnesota Vikings interview.
Now he's going to unload with that right arm. So Johnson has to get his load ready to go load to load. And the fans boo when you do that.
Tough to stop it.
Well, you got to. If a guy's loading up on you, you got to load up on him.
And you better bring a bigger load.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Touchdown! Vikings win it! Broncos wide receiver Jerry Jeudy was walking by, and Steve called out to him.
I called out to him because on my podcast, Cut to It, I just talked about guys that maybe have not showed up in a way or in a manner. And so the word that I've used to describe him in the past was a jag, just a guy.
Just a guy.
So I'll say it again. I'm sorry that I said you were a jag, just a guy who's an average wide receiver they use a first-round pick on that isn't doing anything. I hope today that you actually show up in a way that you haven't showed up in the last couple of years since they drafted you. So if you ever got a problem with Agent 89, I'm sorry for saying that you're an average wide receiver that they eventually will move on. And when teams call me and asking, should they trade for you? I will say no, don't trade for Jerry Jeudy because he's mentally unable to handle constructive criticism from people who watch specifically, can he be a wide receiver?
It's passive aggressive pass.
Oh, man.
That's pretty
Former
awesome.
NFL wide receiver Steve Smith. He's doing television now. I didn't know that. And he is not shy.
Heck no.
He never has been. There he went on live television. He's got some kind of beef with a Denver Broncos receiver named Jerry Jeudy. There he goes live on television, just popping off.
Well, he did that because Jeudy made like eye contact. They had like a discussion, and Jeudy didn't want to talk to him or had some sort of an issue with him. Obviously.
Keep an eye on this. This one might end in the octagon.
Yeah, it could.
It might come to
and
a
I
fight.
would not want to go up against Steve Smith.
No, he's pretty funny, man. That was good.
He is. He always has been a funny guy and a fiery guy. Did he refer to himself as Agent 89?
He did.
Well, there you go.
Just a guy.
That is a great term.
He's a jag,
I
which
hadn't heard
stands
that
for
before.
just a guy. Here are the fellas. Randy Shaver, we've heard from already. Where's Brad Ryder?
I'm here. Good morning.
And that ain't it. That ain't even it. Brad, not that you're not enough. You are.
Well.
But wait. Randy, don't.
Come on, Randy.
He's just coming off an illness. Brad Ryder, sensitive guy.
Just a guy. Just a guy.
Oh, Brad Ryder's a jag now.
Jag Ryder.
Just a guy.
Just a guy. It's Friday. On Fridays, we get to talk to the... Yes, Brad, how can I help?
No, I was just going to say I'm Agent 86, not Agent 89.
Because you graduated in 86?
Yeah.
That's good. We get to talk to the pimp on Fridays. Vikings long snapper Andrew DePaola. Hey, bruh.
Hey, guys. Good morning.
Sorry about my friends.
They're not getting along this morning.
Calling each other jags, just a guy. Have you heard that term? Is that strictly a football term, Andrew?
That's the first I ever heard it, to be honest with you.
Just a guy. He's a jag.
Why don't you go ahead and call out other guys in the league that you think are jags?
I'm going to add that to my trash talk repertoire.
What up, jag? You ain't nothing but a jag. Well, you can say things like that. You're a Pro Bowler.
Technically, yes.
Yeah.
Technically, by definition.
I've had a motto around here that I've tried to attach to some of our franchises. Remember a couple years ago when the Wolves were in the playoffs? I think this is when they had that kind of over-celebratory...
they won the play-in game.
They won the play-in game, and they were crying on the court. And
everybody's making fun of them.
I had a motto for the team that year. If you guys remember, my motto was, let's be dicks. Let's be dicks about this. For once, let's be the arrogant, kind of flashy ball club. So, I mean, Andrew, you can adopt that anytime you want. Just be a dick.
Just be a dick.
Yeah.
There it is.
See what comes of it.
I need quotes around that right there. Just be a dick.
Yeah, I might.
That could be a title for a book you write after you retire.
What does everyone do now? They patent their slogans. I heard Deion Sanders recently wants to patent these sayings and slogans, right?
Yeah, get copyrights on them.
Copyrights. Well, there you go. Thanks for joining us again, Andrew.
Yeah, always. Thanks for having me.
You and the boys are off to the state of Illinois, or are you already there?
No, we leave tomorrow.
Off to the state of Illinois to play the Chicago Bears Sunday at noon.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of wondering if this nasty weather might make its way over to Chicago, and maybe you guys would have to get a face full of it on Sunday.
I think the report is calling for rain.
Just a quick Google shows high of 54 with a 60% chance of rain on Sunday in Chicago.
Well, you big guys, you bigger dudes like that. Don't you like that setup, It slows down the quicker guys. Bigger guys can get more of a handle on things. That's at least what I remember.
Is it more challenging to play in rain and that condition or snow?
Great question. I'd throw out there the rain, just because you have to be more conscious of your grip on the ball, and then your feet. You got to keep your feet under you. It's just annoying. Snow is kind of cool if it's not a bunch of inches, but the rain, you got to just be a little more conscious about things.
Good question, Agent 86.
Yeah,
that was
I
a
like
good
that
one.
too.
You're welcome.
I mean, do you change when the ball's wet like that? Do you change your style other than holding on tighter, maybe, or is there something different you do?
I kind of mess with my grip a little bit, so I have a little more grip on the ball, a little more control over it, to where it's not going to hopefully not slip out of my hands as easy.
And how? Don't the referees do a pretty good job of toweling that sumbitch off and making sure it's at least relatively dry, no matter what the conditions are?
Yeah, so the K-balls will stay on the sideline during the game in a little pouch that the ball guy has. And then for kicking plays, they'll throw the ball in. So really the only time the ball is exposed to elements is when they throw the ball in and then the ref places it on the ground. Right. And he'll ask, hey, with your grip, do you want the laces facing up? Do you want the laces facing down? Just so you can kind of keep your grip as dry as possible.
There you go.
Yeah.
You ever intentionally deflated the ball so it's more...
No, I haven't. I have not.
It's Friday the 13th today. Does that do anything for you, Andrew DePaola?
No, I didn't even know it was Friday the 13th, going to be Friday the 13th until yesterday.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't really get dialed into that kind of thing. We were talking a little bit of Friday the 13th stuff earlier, and good luck and bad luck, and I don't get too wound up in it either.
I mean, there's some people that won't leave the house.
Some people won't go to work. Some people won't go to work on Friday the 13th. Does anyone think that their boss would understand that excuse?
No.
I don't think so.
Mine wouldn't.
Yeah, what if you just chose not to go to practice for that reason?
The running joke my wife has is she always asks if I can take PTO.
But I thought it was really interesting in Josh's... Okay, so it's Friday the 13th, and we're also headed for Halloween, right? We're headed in that direction. Josh, you had a movie trailer in your news report where the narrator said, when we were kids riding our bicycles around our neighborhood, there was always one house where you rode your bike just a little bit faster because it was kind of creepy. Did you have that situation in your neighborhood, Andrew DePaola?
No, I didn't really live in a neighborhood growing up. We kind of lived not out in the boonies, but it was a little more rural, and I could only ride my bike around my property. I didn't really have a neighborhood I could ride a bike in.
Well, you're out in the woods?
Yeah, kind of.
Well, that's kind of scary in itself.
Yeah, definitely. True.
The rest of us, can we relate to that? One house in the neighborhood? Yeah, well, tell us about it, Randy Shaver.
I had a house on the corner, probably about four or five houses down.
Yeah.
That was, overgrown, not taken care of.
Oh.
The people were weird. One of those kind of deals, right?
Yep.
And you always had to go by that house to go to school.
Right.
And, of course, back in that day, we walked to school. It was, 7 blocks or whatever it was. So it was always a faster pace to go, especially like if you had football practice later in the fall as a 7th grader and it was getting dark as you were coming back home, kind of a deal.
So you never made friends with anyone in that house? You never communicated?
No.
What was so weird about them?
They were just weird. The guy, I don't know. The house was creepy, not taken care of. You know
were there any wild stories and rumors about the house in the neighborhood?
Well, the people never got along with anybody on the block.
Okay.
So there was always that, we don't mess with those folks kind of a thing.
You just left them alone and tried to get beyond them as quickly as possible.
There was nothing specific or nothing like, the rumor was they kidnapped somebody. It was nothing like that.
Okay.
It was just that the way that the house looked different than everybody else's on the block.
What about anybody else on the panel with the creepy house in the neighborhood?
Oh, yeah.
There was a house on my neighborhood that
it was on your neighborhood.
Or that in my neighborhood that we always said was haunted.
Yeah, why'd you say that?
There was a old couple that used to live there, and sadly, the husband fell off. They had a spiral staircase outside their house, and he fell off the staircase and passed away.
Oh.
And so it was the rumor that he haunted the place, and you could hear him coughing in the middle of the night, doors slamming. He liked animals, though. I guess that was also the rumor that if you lived there and you had a pet, he liked you more. Versus if you didn't.
The one in our neighborhood, no one lived there, so it made it even extra creepier. All the windows were busted out of the house. People would go in there and kind of destroy the house even more. There was always photos and stuff thrown on the floor. And then in the backyard, they had a well. It was super deep, and me and my buddies broke glow sticks, and we dropped them down. We couldn't even see the glow sticks anymore. It was so deep.
It was that deep?
Wow. Yeah.
I hear you.
We didn't have one, but all of our neighbors did.
Weird.
We did have one in the but it wasn't so much scary. It's just the lady was very, very eccentric. Everyone called her Crazy Mary.
I remember you telling us about Crazy Mary.
She looked like the bus driver on South Park.
Okay.
Oh.
There was a bird in her hair?
Yep.
Okay.
Honestly, I think they based that character on her. And she, at the movie theater I worked at, she used to come in and she would wear like a sundress, no matter the time of year, and bend over a lot. And she never was wearing anything underneath it.
No underpants?
Yeah.
Oh.
And everyone and anytime I mention Crazy Mary, folks that grew up in Minneapolis know exactly who I'm talking about.
Why wouldn't she put on any drawers?
I don't know. She just was, a little different. And her house, she painted crazy colors and
a little breeze down there.
Everybody knew where Crazy Mary lived.
These stories took a weird turn.
A little breeze? I'm sorry, I don't see what's weird about Crazy Mary.
Nothing at all. Yeah, we had a big, my neighborhood where I grew up was your standard residential neighborhood. Ramblers, side-by-side ramblers. But at the end of my neighborhood, kind of behind my neighborhood, there was a wooded area with a pond and a swamp, and we could ride our bicycles back there. And it was odd that there was one big fat house in the middle of the woods, and just that one. And there was an old lady that lived there, and there was no rumors, no nothing, kind of like what Randy Shaver was saying. It was just a creepy-looking house. It stuck out quite a bit compared to the other houses in the neighborhood. It was always dark. It was always so. Yeah, if we're talking about just the house that I rode a little faster beyond on my bicycle, that was the place.
I thought you had like a crazy cat house in your neighborhood.
Well, yeah, but there was nothing scary about that to me. I mean, there was an old lady in the neighborhood who had like 36 cats.
It's alarming.
It was weird, but it wasn't scary. I mean, she even built some kind of a stand in the picture window so the cats could all hop up there and look out the window. You couldn't see into her house because of all the friggin' cats stacked up against the window. That was weird. Nothing that ever scared me.
As I mentioned, Crazy Mary's kind of famous in Minneapolis. People are texting in on her x-ray. She just said she was awesome, scary, but awesome. This person said, I live 4 houses away from Crazy Mary. She still does the same thing nowadays. Well, I'm glad she hasn't changed up her routine.
She's still around.
Still not wearing any drawers.
Man. What about, Friday the 13th, what about good luck, bad luck? Is that anything that you focus on? I should say, like a good luck charm, a superstition, Andrew DePaola. Any of that come into play in your life?
Man.
Yeah, have we asked you that? Where you do something before every game, or if things are going well, you continue something, or make a change if things aren't going well?
I think we talked about it last year a little bit, but like as far as like good luck charms and superstitions, I really try not to like really get too big into those, because I feel like if you don't do like that one thing or whatever, or that like you just kind of throws everything off, and then you're no good for the game because you're like, well, I didn't put my socks on the same, or I didn't wear my special cleats. Like now I'm ruined, and I think you just get too caught up in that, and it's like, just play the game, man. Like, you know, it's really all it comes down to.
Do you have an F?
Baseball players are more superstitious than football players.
Oh yeah, you seem to hear that quite a bit.
Yeah. I think that's probably accurate, Brad Ryder. Andrew DePaola, you don't happen to have an F Chicago T-shirt that you want to flash to the crowd on Sunday, do you?
You know, I actually used to play for Chicago.
Oh, I thought it was just the Raiders and the Titans.
No, I started off with the Bucks, and then I went 1 year with the Bears, and then from there I went to the Raiders.
How was your year with the Bears?
I mean, we went like 5-11, so we weren't really that good. It was in 2017, but I mean, I enjoyed it. Me and my wife, we really liked the city of Chicago. We enjoyed the team and teammates while we were there, so we had a good time.
You still have friends that might want to meet up with you over the weekend?
I think everyone's pretty much gone from when I was there. It was a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you read about this George Kittle, tight end for the San Francisco 49ers. Did he get a fine yet?
I don't know if he got it. It sounds like it's coming, though.
The NFL was looking to fine him around $11,000. So the Niners completely curb-stomped the Cowboys last weekend. Kittle scored a couple of touchdowns. At one point after he scored, he pulled up his jersey, and underneath he was wearing a T-shirt that said F Dallas.
That was awesome.
Like the real F word.
Yeah.
That's only an $11,000 fine?
Yeah.
You thought it'd be more?
Surprises me, too.
What would that fine really?
You're seeing guys get like $18,000, $23,000, $43,000 fines for, I don't know, hits, and I think socks. I think not wearing the right socks is like $11,000. So like,
oh man.
Whoa. Well, I know.
Why is it such a specific number? Why isn't it just 10 or?
Yeah, no, this one I just looked at.
Why is it 11?
Well, no, I looked it up. It's $10,927 for Kittle.
Yeah.
Okay.
It might be a percentage of his game check.
That's
or
got to
something.
be what it is.
It must
I
be.
Gotcha.
That's got to be what it is.
I got you.
Well, I mean, there's lots and lots of things you guys can get pinched for. Speaking of the uniforms, we've heard stories about that. Socks and the jersey has to be tucked in. Do you still have that right there? Isn't there a guy on your staff who checks everybody's setup to see that everything's tucked in properly and this and that?
Yeah, each game day, each team has a swag checker.
A swag checker? Is that what you said?
I want to be a swag checker.
Oh, yeah. So it's a person on the sideline. They have like their little noteboard or clipboard, and they write down any player that has like a jersey infraction for during warm-ups, and then you go in, after warm-ups, and then usually the equipment manager or somebody will come around and be like, "Hey, they got you. Change up your tights or your socks or your undershirt or whatever they might get you for."
That's insane. What is? Maybe you're not the type of guy that reads through his entire contract. Josh is the type of guy who didn't you read every word. Yeah. Oh no, that was the employee handbook.
Well, you both, but yeah, the employee handbook. They said, "Hey, you got to read this." I'm the only guy that read it.
Yeah, he did, and it was a fat sumbitch too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it took forever. And there's a lot of words I didn't understand.
If you haven't believed me before when I say this is the straightest laced man on planet Earth, maybe you'll believe me now. The guy read through the whole. But as far as little things you can get in trouble for, Andrew DePaola, in your contract, what are a couple, one that comes to mind that's like the most ridiculous? Not that I'm trying to get you in trouble with your friggin' boss, but, what's the...
Yeah, are there things you're not allowed to do?
I mean, my contract is like pretty standard and straightforward. Like there's no like riders, there's no add-ons. I know some players have like specific things in their contract that they can and can't do. Mine's not like that. It's just like, I know there's language in their contract that says like detrimental to the team. I mean, it's pretty broad, so like pretty much anything could possibly be detrimental to the team. I just think the fines are a little ticky-tacky, like, socks, armbands, undershirts, like if you're wearing Under Armour cleats or like any other type of cleat that's not pre-approved by the league, you get fined. I know players that if you're like, let's say you're sponsored by Nike, you're getting paid by Nike to wear their cleats, and you tape over the Nike check, they will fine you $10,000 for taping over the Nike check.
Will Nike pay for that?
Does what?
I said, will Nike pay for that?
No, Nike is the one fining you.
No. Nike is fining.
Yeah, because you're taping over the Nike swoosh.
That's hilarious.
Right.
That's hilarious.
Right.
That is, yeah, can you imagine? Like you said, ticky-tacky a little bit.
Andrew DePaola, just once before you're done with us, I would like to do something on the radio with you that would be considered conduct detrimental to the team.
Oh, boy.
On your way out.
Have you ever been fined for anything? I can't imagine you have.
Not yet.
All right.
Yet is that key word there.
I don't want to jinx myself. It is Friday the 13th.
He's one of the good guys. He's one of the good guys.
By the way,
I just enjoy money.
Hey, you're also a business owner, so that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Got to keep the bagels going.
Yeah, you can't take a fine like that.
He realizes he's got about a dozen more appearances left on this show this year, so that's why I quantify that.
Is this the liquor talking, or did you boys pull off a fake punt last time around?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
That was pretty exciting.
We did.
That must have got the adrenaline pumping a little bit when you heard that call coming into the huddle.
Yeah, it did. I mean, there was like, a lot going on, but when I heard it, I was like, yes, let's go, finally.
Let's have a little fun out here.
Yeah, yep.
Well, there you go, Andrew. Suddenly the Bears look like they might have something to, might have a cause out there. For the first 3 weeks of the season, they look so terrible. They look pretty good next time around, so you guys might have your work cut out for you on Sunday.
Yeah, they're a good team. I mean, I don't care what their record says. I don't care what the media says. They're a good team, and if we take them lightly, it's not going to go well in our favor. So we've got to really be on our P's and Q's for this one.
Well, we'll be checking it out. We'll be keeping an eye on you Sunday at noon out there in Chicago. Andrew DePaola, always a fun time jaw-jacking with you, pal.
Appreciate you guys. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, you too. See you, man.
Go get them.
See ya.
All right, now
I just reread my contract.
Oh, no.
Under job position, it writes JAG. That's hurtful.
You are anything but a jag, Joshua. Here we go. Purple Pick'em. Let's get a listener on the line for some predictions now. You should know, if you're dying to get involved in our Purple Pick'em segment, you got to listen to the Stinkin' Radio, 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. That's how you hear that keyword to text in. And if we choose you, we'll get you on the air for some predictions for the Minnesota game. You might win $1,000. Might win $100,000 in a trip to the title game in February. I understand we got Bob Cunningham on the line, a.k.a. Fitter Bob Jesus. Hello, Bob.
Good morning.
Well, what's going on, pal?
Oh, just at work.
Yeah. Just fitting this and fitting that.
You know it.
What do you do if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm a union pipe fitter.
Pipe fitter.
Oh, nice.
You guys,
yes,
if I remember right, you guys kind of play off like you're a group of tough guys,
They are
right?
a bunch of tough guys.
Oh, come on now.
That's what I remember about.
We get those guys coming in here to fix stuff that breaks constantly.
Don't they always come off like,
That's right.
I'm a tough guy?
They are tough guys. I wouldn't mess with them.
We appreciate you listening, Bob, and the work that you do, and for getting involved in Purple Pick'em. So before we let you go have a wonderful weekend and watch the ball game. We need your prediction for the halftime score.
Minnesota 13, Chicago 10.
All right. There'll be a 3-point lead at half, says Fitter Bob Jesus. And the final.
27-24 Minnesota.
Ooh.
Okay.
Well, maybe
another nail biter.
A last-second field goal involving our long snapper friend Andrew DePaola, maybe.
Yes, sir.
If you get one or the other right, Fitter Bob Jesus, if you get one or the other right, you win $1,000. If you nail them both, $100,000 and a trip to the title game, like I said, in February. If you win $100,000 and a trip to the ball game. Do you go back to work as a fitter on Monday? Or do you throw it all away? Or do you go off and live a life of luxury?
Yeah.
All right.
Try to anyway, right?
That sounds good.
That's the way to do it. That's the attitude.
We appreciate it, Fitter Bob, okay?
Thank you, guys. Brotherhood.
Brotherhood to you, too. We'll be watching on Sunday and seeing what Fitter Bob's predictions can do. Sponsored by the next generation of 10G network, only from Xfinity. Our Purple Pick'em gimmick, you guys, still cooking. Oh, we got plenty more to try to roll through here very quickly, because we do have a dad fight ready to go. Pigs won the opener, 2-0.
Yeah, looked good.
Well, I don't know if every night old Phil wants to look at 41 stinking shots on net.
Might as well get it over the first night, though, when you got the adrenaline pumping.
But the man's got a skill set. There's no doubt about it. Brock Faber got his first NHL goal in last night's game. The boys are at Toronto tomorrow night. Did we ever get any word about the celebrities who walked the green carpet last night before the... anybody?
Have yet to see.
I was looking, and I couldn't see anything about it.
I know the new dog walked the green carpet. The new wild tea dog that they have.
His name is Slapshot or something. What's his? He's got a hockey
one-timer or something. I don't know.
One-time skis.
Did he poop on the carpet?
That would have been great, but I didn't see any of that.
Or he just scoots his buttock all the way across instead of walking.
Yeah.
One quick side hockey story. This sounds awful. The Vancouver Canucks played their season opener Wednesday night against Edmonton. The Canucks goalie, a kid by the name of Thatcher Demko, had to be pulled from the game because he puked in his goalie mask.
Oh, no. That sounds absolutely awful.
I've been there, done that.
Oh,
have you really?
Gross,
Yeah,
dude.
it wasn't
that's
a,
nasty.
Wasn't a goalie mask, but
You're
it
talking
was a
about your
hockey mask.
iTech?
Yep.
What happened?
Your clear shield?
Yeah, I had fast food, maybe a half hour before this hockey tournament. Like, it was a tournament, so it was going all day. We had a game earlier, and then we had a game in the afternoon. Ate fast food on the bench and puked it all up. Right in the mask.
Into your mask. It splash.
At least you didn't poop in your breezer.
That was a different day.
That was the following tournament.
Yeah.
He had fast food.
That was game 2.
Yeah. Game number 2. Game poo.
That was game poo.
Build a separate bench for this kid.
No doubt.
It's spraying out of both ends.
Did you have any friends left from that team?
No, I didn't.
I don't know if this Canucks goalie, by the way, I don't know if his coach, Rick Tocchet, I don't know if Tocchet knew what he was saying here, but after the game, Tocchet said he was proud of the goalie because he sucked it up.
Oh.
Literally?
Not literally.
Okay.
But still, I bet a few people in the media room cringed a little bit.
Oh, bro.
With that.
Back to the green carpet. I did see pictures of them at the game. I imagine they probably did the green carpet thing. But Mara Morneau and Gardy took a picture together that the Wild tweeted out.
Oh, yeah, they were at the game.
Morneau, Gardy, and who?
Maurer,
Morneau, and Gardy.
Yeah, that was pretty cool to see.
I like those guys.
3 of them hanging out.
The Best of 7 American League Championship Series begins Sunday. Rangers-Astros. The Best of 7 National League Championship Series starts Monday. Phillies and Diamondbacks. The Atlanta Braves are gone.
Wow. The best 4 teams in baseball, all eliminated.
Best 5 I thought I saw last night. I was going to mention this too. Yeah, the top 5 seeds are all gone for the first time ever, and the top 5 seeds went, I think I heard 1-16 in the playoffs.
That's fun.
Yeah, I like that.
Wow.
That is fun. Nick Castellanos slugged 2 dongs in last night's game for Philadelphia. First player in playoff history to have back-to-back multiple home run games. Trey Turner last night, first Philly ever to have 4 hits in a playoff game. Phillies look great.
Yeah.
Oh, God, we're getting there. We are getting there. Wapple, I know you're busy over there. Making a sign for tonight's Golden Gopher hockey game that says St. Thomas totally sucks and does not belong in Division I hockey. I know you're busy with that. I know you're also making a separate sign that says, can anyone please help me locate my uncle? I haven't seen him since his 31st birthday party a couple days before he signed a letter of intent to play college hockey at Mankato State. I know you're busy making that too. But we got to have you. He's going to the Golden Gopher hockey game tonight. He's bringing a couple of signs. You got to go ahead and fist that Dad Fights theme song for us. What's it called, Cubby?
Dad fights.
Say it again.
Dad fights.
You never puked or pooped or anything on the football field or on the running track, Randy Shaver?
Yeah, I could see the track especially.
I did not, but I've told you those stories of guys I've run against that did that before every race. So, no, I did not.
Well, no one ever had an accident during the race.
No.
I'm surprised by that.
No.
Because I always thought that.
Close before.
Well, I would never eat anything before I played either football or run track.
Well, I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm just saying surprised in general. You never witnessed that for a different, an opponent, because running shakes that kind of stuff out of you.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
You seem to hear that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know you didn't run a long. You weren't a long distance guy, were you?
I was at 400 meters.
The meter.
The meter.
So, Dad fights 100, add 45. It'll be the ass man versus the lonely boy again today. Are you wowed by the number we've reached?
I am. It just keeps on going.
It's our weekly trivia dork off here. Jag versus Jag.
Jag off. Just a guy.
Randy getting nasty on the mic over here. So, we were just talking about the baseball championship series coming up. Justin Verlander, is he going to start game one Sunday for the Houston Astros?
I would assume so, yeah.
Okay. Is he still hooked up with that Kate Upton?
Oh, yeah.
Sure is.
They've got kids and everything.
I'll be damned. We were talking about those two off air a day or two ago.
My wife was watching the game. She goes, he's ugly. She goes, how in the world did those two get together? I go, well, a little bit older now.
Being good at sports goes a long way.
We were talking about those two off air a day or two ago, Justin Verlander and Kate Upton, and it inspired us to get, as Josh would say, fly honeys involved in today's dad brawl. And yes, of course, this worldwide whack-off over Taylor Swift's relationship with Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker also came into play.
You're way off on this, I got to say.
Today, Dad Fights 100 plus 45 is all about big-time athletes who dated or married scorching hot babes.
Gosh.
We could put you in that, Randy. You're in that category.
Oh, my gosh.
Minus the big-time athlete part.
Well, he was. In Iowa, he's a big deal.
You two bastards, I think, will be all over this. We'll give you the hot mama. And you'll try to name the big, dumb, lucky-ass jock who dated or married her high-maintenance ass.
Huh.
Now, keep in mind, some of these gals have dated or upped and married quite a few athletes. So listen for the clues as to which ball player we are looking for. Your answers will all be the jocks, not the hot mamacitas. You following that?
Sure.
Sure.
We'll
You're going
give
to name the hot woman, and we're going to name the jock.
We'll give you the lovely lady. You name the big fathead jock we're getting at that had her hanging on his arm. Some of these were very brief relationships. Some have stood the test of time. So shout out your answer when you think you know it. You want to beat the other dad to the punch. If you're correct, you hear the bell. That means you got a point. If you're incorrect, what are we going with, Wapple?
I kind of like this one.
Hey, that sounds fun.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm watching Price is Right or something like that.
That sounds fun. It's kind of sad. I like that.
Yeah, it's sad tuba.
I like darkness, sadness, misfortune for others. You guys know me. All right, if you're incorrect, you'll hear again. It means you've received no point. You can steal if your opponent F's up 10 challenges plus a tiebreaker if needed. I believe our intro guy is named Large Penis. I have no idea what his name is.
Dr. Evil Jesus.
Hit it.
This is Dr. Evil Jesus coming to you from northern Minnesota. Why Dr. Evil Jesus? Because I'm bald. I think $1 million is a lot of money.
Internet makes lots of money, so give us some of that money. Yeah, give us internet money.
And like Nick and Josh, love a good number 2.
Who does number 2 work for?
And today, we have the ass man, Randy Shaver, who I think is missing the boat on manscaping product endorsements is who wouldn't want to use the Ass Man Randy Shaver.
The Randy Shaver.
The lonely boy Brad Ryder, who I also think is missing the boat on endorsements, is I think if it would have been the lonely boy Brad Ryder Baldo, Nick would have actually used it. And now, with an excitement level somewhere between an Ashley chicken nugget eating contest and watching Josh eat a pickle, it's Dad Fights 145.
I did once purchase Nick a Baldo, a device which goes over your testicles. You thought you were going to use it and you never did.
Yeah, I couldn't get her done. It scared me too much.
It looked confusing. Yeah, I would have stayed away.
Thank you, Dr. Evil Jesus. Sorry, at last minute there, I forgot your stinking name. He was funny. Speaking of hot babes, fold shaver like a taco Jesus?
Oh, Lord.
My word.
Is this for real? Fold shaver like a taco Jesus has texted in to tell us that he just watched a movie yesterday that featured both Kate Upton and Alejandro Bagario.
Yeah, The Layover, it looks like.
Yep.
Wow, how do you even live through that? All right, Dad Fights 145. Big-time athletes who have dated or married scorching hot babes.
When it comes to fathers, she's got a great one. And maybe being around professional athletes like her dad, Wayne, her whole life could explain why in August 2013,
Brooks Koepka.
In 2013, Paulina Gretzky started dating and later married this two-time major champion.
Dustin Johnson.
Dang it.
Yes, Dustin Johnson, excuse me. It's a correct answer. Paulina recently did one of those Ask Me Anything gimmicks on social media, and a fan asked what her dad, Wayne, thought of Dustin when he first met him. She said her dad told her she should marry him, so she did.
Paulina Gretzky.
Hubba hubba.
And the answer was Dustin Johnson. Yeah, Brad, you knew what you were doing, but you kind of didn't know what you were doing. Yeah.
I got ahead of myself.
That was Jenna Sims that dates or married to Brooks Koepka.
Who's Jenna Sims?
Yeah, who the hell is Jenna Sims?
She's a model. She's very attractive.
Yeah, very, very pretty.
A lot of models are, I've noticed.
She thinks she's attractive. 1-0 Randy Shaver with the Dustin Johnson answer. All right. This effing dude may have won a few hockey games in his 19-year NHL career playing for the Predators and Senators, but his biggest, that's not a word, his biggest victory came...
Carrie Underwood.
Well, you kind of forgot where we're going there for a minute. Hang on.
Oh, yeah, Mike Fisher.
Randy, you forgot the setup to the game, didn't you?
Yep, you're right.
These things can happen. I'll finish it up. Brad is correct. His biggest victory came when he met Carrie Underwood backstage at one of her concerts in 2000+9 and married her ass a year later. Brad is correct. Mike Fisher.
Yeah, we both kind of boofed one here, so I'm feeling better about this.
On Boof Bonzer's birthday, too.
Yeah.
The two of you are a little tight, a little nervous. It happens. It's a big one. It's Dad Fights 100 plus 45. I don't blame you. Mike Fisher and Carrie Underwood still live in Tennessee, and they've pumped out a couple of kids. It is...
That was an easy one. Shoot.
It is what? 1-1?
Yep, all tied.
Yep.
2 questions in. I already forgot the score.
After starring in the hit Tony Danza sitcom Who's the Boss in the 80s and early 90s, Alyssa Milano became the celebrity crush for a lot of guys. But if you want a shot with her, you better learn how to throw a fastball. She's definitely got a type, as she's dated several major league pitchers over the years, including 2003 World Series winner with the Marlins, Brad Penny, 2012 World Series winner with the Giants, Barry Zito, and this former Twins righty who pitched for our home club from
Scott Erickson.
From 2009 to 2012.
Carl Pavano.
Nice.
You know, we thought, Brad, you'd pull that one out of your hat.
Yeah.
What? Carl Pavano?
Yeah.
He dated Alyssa Milano.
Killer Carl.
He did.
Yes, he did. Yes,
he got
did.
it done.
Milano also dated teen heartthrob Corey Haim for a few years in the 80s.
Oh, my goodness.
And just like Brad Penny, Pavano also won a World Series on that 2003 Marlins team.
Alyssa Milano and Carl Pavano. They even rhyme.
Mm-hmm.
Killer Carl could close a deal. 2-1 Brad. That was a good one, Brad.
Wow.
All right. By goodness, where are we going next? Dad Fights 145, we're talking about athletes who dated or married scorching hot babes. Since her love life has been making the news since the 90s, it was no surprise that it was a big damn deal when Jennifer Lopez got engaged to this...
Alex Rodriguez.
And now Brad Ryder has got a couple in a row. It was a big damn deal when Jennifer Lopez got engaged to this former big league slugger who hit 696 effing dongs in his professional career. Yes, A-Rodski. The two were together from 2017 until early 2022. But that's when they announced they broke off their engagement shortly after J-Lo got back together with her ex, Ben Affleck, and the two got married. Rodriguez stays busy calling baseball games and drinking at T-Wolves games here in town. Nice one, Brad Ryder. What's the score, Waffle?
It's 3-1, Brad.
Oh, my goodness, it's 3-1, Brad.
Reggie Bush, Miles Austin, Cristiano Ronaldo all have one thing in common. As former boyfriends, they've all seen Kim Kardashian's butt in person. And you can add a Minnesota Mr. Basketball winner to that list.
Humphries.
Yes. He married Kim 12 years ago this month.
What's the problem here?
What do you mean?
What the hell was that?
Frustrated.
Oh, I honestly thought someone had fallen down or something. In the...
I thought Nick did.
Yeah, I thought that was Nick too. That was very Nick-like. That was very
Sorry,
confused.
Josh. Continue on.
So the two were infamously married for only 72 days. Many speculated the Kardashians' marriage to Humphries was a publicity stunt orchestrated by E! Entertainment to promote the Kardashians' TV show.
I'll be damned. Chris Humphries and Kim Kardashian. What is Chris Humphries doing these days?
He's here in town.
I saw him at the grocery store not too long ago.
Oh, wait a
He's here
minute.
in town.
I knew that he was in town, but I think I remember
owns,
now.
like pizza places.
Yeah, I
that's
thought
right.
He owned restaurants.
Yeah, like a hot
you're
chicken
right.
place. I think some Wingstop joints.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. I just remembered. He runs some kind of
He knows what he's doing.
some kind of choke and puke. Fair enough. I know I've told this story before, but many years ago. Well, what year was this when he was married to Kim Kardashian? What did you say, Josh?
12 years ago.
12 friggin' years ago. I was on Lake Minnetonka at Big Island and just, anchored amongst the mayhem. And all of a sudden, one boat goes shooting away fast as it can go. Two boats go shooting away, 5 at a time. Everyone's racing away from Big Island. And I thought, did I break wind or what the hell happened here? And I hollered at someone. I said, where's everyone going? And like an 18-year-old girl said, Kim Kardashian and Chris Humphries are in Crystal Bay or whatever. They were all racing to go look at Kim Kardashian and Chris Humphries, who supposedly were on the lake that day.
Jesus.
How star obsessed can you get? 3-1 Brad Ryder.
4-1.
4-1 Brad Ryder. Here's your next challenge. Although it may not have been as big a deal here in America as it was in England, it was huge news when Victoria Adams, a.k.a. Posh Spice from the Spice Girls...
David Beckham.
Unbelievable.
Brad knows his celebrity gossip.
God, I guess.
Yeah.
It was big news when Posh Spice from the Spice Girls started dating a hypnotically handsome soccer player who was the captain of England and Manchester United, whatever that means. And he also starred in a hilarious Burger King commercial. Who is he? David Beckham.
Somebody shake Josh.
I know.
I'm sure he's dating.
Posh Spice is the luckiest woman on the face of the planet.
And I watched that David Beckham documentary. She's a saint. She put up with a lot during his playing career.
Well, was he crushing? He was crushing a lot of ass on the side.
There's one rumor that he cheated, but just the amount of abuse she would get because of him. He effed up at the World Cup, got a red card. He came back to England. He was so vilified all over. Fans at other stadiums would chant, Victoria Beckham takes it somewhere where it's not normally taken. They would sing that
Well, it depends
song.
on your relationship.
That's
but
Right,
brutal.
yeah, but not the more traditional place to take it.
I saw a little snippet of that. I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, Dana, maybe it's this documentary where she's like trying to talk about her upbringing and she was trying to say that she was not wealthy, and he like breaks into the room in the middle of the interview and was like, no.
He sticks
don't
his
lie.
head in and he goes, tell the truth. And she's like, well, no, you see, he's like, tell the truth. And she goes, what kind of car did your dad drive in the 80s to drop you off at school? She's like, well, for a while he had a Rolls Royce. He goes, told you, tell the truth.
Not a lot of average income folks are rolling around in a Rolls Royce.
No.
This Netflix documentary you're talking about, apparently in their summers, David Beckham reveals that one of his hobbies now is beekeeping.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
He puts on his little apiary suit, or whatever they call it, his little bee costume, and goes on, tends to the bees.
Who married Baby Spice? That's what I want to know. She was so hot I couldn't even look at her. I would have to close my eyes when they showed her on television. It would overwhelm me. Is it over, Wapple?
No.
No, Randy can try. He's got to run the table.
And it looks like Posh Spice married Jade Jones.
You mean Baby Spice?
Or Baby Spice,
Who's
yeah.
Jade Jones?
Jade Jones is a British R&B singer. Kept it in the family.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Related?
She's a singer.
He's a singer.
He's a
Oh,
singer.
I see what you're saying. The singing family.
Brad can close it out with another correct answer.
In a whirlwind relationship that resulted in some I-do's at a Vegas wedding shack in 1998, sex symbol Carmen Electra married this eccentric...
Dennis Rodman.
Oh, dang. He just ruined you.
Here's my imitation of Brad's wife. So, how do you know all of these hot women who are...
Oh, definitely.
It's because of her, I actually do. She knows all this stuff.
Randy, you just got your guts stomped out.
I did. I just got
by a
pounded.
jag.
By a jag.
I would have loved to see how Janelle Klein would have done in this.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I think she would have been a really good match.
She would have been awesome.
Well, we were going to use her as an example, seeing how she dated Jose Canseco. We were going to ask you about Paris Hilton and Brian Urlacher.
Okay.
We were going to ask you about who else is in here, Josh.
Tony Romo and Jessica Simpson.
Oh, Jessica Simpson.
Sure. Yep.
How about Kerry Washington? Isn't she married to some...
Well,
former
see, here's the
athlete?
deal, Randy Shaver. I know who Kerry Washington is because I think she's one of the most stunning women on planet Earth.
Yeah.
But we didn't think a lot of folks would know that one. Who I don't even know who she...
The defensive back, right? Asama?
I couldn't tell you. Eva
I know
Longoria.
Dwayne Wade's
Oh,
married.
Eva Longoria, Tony Parker.
We thought about throwing the Dwayne Wade. There was a lot of options here.
Yeah.
And there was a lot, like I said
There's
earlier.
a lot more than people think.
Yeah, and some of these women dated multiple. Who were we? Was it Paris Hilton? For God's sake, Shaun White, the snowboarder, and I don't know.
Yeah, there's a few on that list.
Well, Brad Ryder, you just crushed it.
Gosh, I guess.
I had a good feeling when you announced the topic.
Did you have a good feeling going
I
into
did.
it? Well,
Yeah.
that positive vibes are a powerful thing. All right, you two fellas.
Is jacking off.
He's not jacking.
Oh. Well, he said he had a good
Not
feeling.
that good of a feeling.
You guys go ahead and have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy everything that's going on. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Sounds good.
Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder. Dad Fights 145.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
And now is a great time to join their team. Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians, dedicated to improving the work-life balance of their employees by providing benefits that include parental leave and 401k match. Apply today at standardheating.com.
We're all juggling life, a career, and trying to build a little bit of wealth. The Brown Ambition podcast with host Mandy and Tiffany the Budgetnista can help.
I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I'm here to tell you what I would do, which is I ain't filing for bankruptcy. Unless I owed $1 million, something crazy, then I'm like, that makes sense. People be filing for bankruptcy for some old $10,000. No, there are other alternatives to filing for bankruptcy that won't curtail your ability to make money. You want to know some of them? Here you go. There's credit counseling.
Brown Ambition.
Wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
We've been talking some Halloween, this and that, and here we are on Friday the 13th. This would be the perfect night for a Halloween party on Friday the 13th.
I'm going to a little get-together tonight, like a little Halloween shindig.
Do you have to wear an outfit?
Nope, no costume.
Nothing
you actually,
like that.
you know whose house I'm going to.
Oh, we do?
Yes.
And we were not invited?
Yeah, this is another party we're not invited to, actually.
It's a girls' night. It's a girls' thing.
I have a girl's name.
Is that close enough that he has a girl's name?
I don't know. I'll have to ask. We'll see.
All right.
Wait, you're not going to share who it is?
Oh, I didn't know if you guys wanted to know. Double D, she's this.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
She invited you?
Heck yeah. I guess I'm cool enough somehow.
Yeah.
Jealous.
Well, there you go. a girls' night.
She's a fun person.
On Friday the 13th. It doesn't need to be an unlucky or at least theoretically unlucky day for girls to collectively end up hating each other after a girls' night.
Now, so I'm a little worried, Ashley, because I don't do the social media anymore, and I used to only be on there pretty much on the weekends to make sure you were okay.
Yeah.
You know, just check your posts, to check in on you to make sure you're fine. So, Dana, you're going to have to take over for me and make sure our girl's doing okay.
I can make sure. I'll set up notifications.
Can you hang with these girls?
I hope so. We'll see.
They seem like partiers to me.
It starts at like an early time, which is nice. I like it. It starts at 6.
Perfect.
I bet you something goes south and some amount of static happens amongst this group of gals.
Wait,
you know what I mean?
Fun Size Jesus is going to be there as well?
Oh, I didn't know that.
You can't hang with them.
Oh, this is going to be way too much fun.
Well, there you go. She's got things going on tonight. Little Smashly over there. Okay, Friday the 13th. Here are some of the stats about today. We touched on this a little earlier. An estimated 17 to 21 million Americans have a fear of Friday the 13th. They can't face it in any way, shape, or form. Some of them don't even go to work. They refuse to leave the house at all.
I got one of my better buddies is that guy. He'll be working from home today for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
He's always been that way?
Absolutely.
Is this the
Since
guy?
we were kids.
Is this the guy who was afraid of taking right or left turns?
No, different guy.
So, do you have any idea?
Yeah, it was left turns. Yeah, different guy.
Okay, but this Friday the 13th guy, do you have any idea how this started or?
No, I mean, it's just, I don't even know if he can explain it. Ever since we were kids, maybe the movie, I have no idea.
Is he superstitious in other ways?
He's maybe not necessarily superstitious, but he has routines that he doesn't like to break.
Well, and, I can say the same for myself.
You and I were just talking about that last night. I'm very stuck to a routine, and if there's I get pretty stressed out if there's going to be any change, even the most minor change.
Do you get made fun of for it? Because I do.
I do as well, yeah. Just because of how strict I am about some of that stuff.
Now, since I brought it up, and in case folks don't know, and it's really fascinating that you have two separate friends who are this superstitious or whatever the word might be. Tell us about your left turn, right turn guy.
Well, that is more understandable. It was a kid I was in a band with in high school, and he wouldn't take anybody home if he was older, so he could drive. If he had to take a left turn, if there's no way to avoid it. He was in a bad car wreck when he was a kid. His mom was turning left, and they got T-boned, so he just was fearful of taking left turns.
That is,
that's understandable.
Without being unsympathetic, that is still kind of odd to me that he just absolutely would not take a left turn.
No, he wouldn't go anywhere. He wouldn't do it at all.
That is something.
Because when he first told me no, I thought he was just kind of being a jerk. I'm like, well, you take this other guy, and the other guy, by the way, the superstitious guy, he was in the band too. Like, you take him home? I don't understand. I thought we were cool, and he explained to me the situation.
Imagine.
And now I'm just realizing maybe he was lying to me because he didn't want to take me home. I don't know.
I mean, imagine if you were, back when you were in this band. Hey, guys, we're opening up for Guns N' Roses tonight on Friday the 13th, and we got to go to the left side of town. You'd be down 2 band members. They wouldn't show up. Some folks don't leave the house at all. And I am sympathetic to folks who find themselves in that situation. Certain things scare one guy, doesn't have any effect at all on the next. I just don't know. I just don't think the boss would listen to that point of view. I'm not coming to work today because it's Friday the 13th. But maybe I'm too old school and bosses are more sympathetic to that kind of thing.
I feel like you'd have to call up and just say, hey, boss, I got bad diarrhea. Can't make it in.
Okay.
Make up some other excuse rather than saying I'm terrified of the date from the movies.
You take some other route there to get the day off. But then if you work there for 5-6 years, I think they're going to recognize a pattern here.
Yeah, you get diarrhea every Friday the 13th.
Every Friday the 13th, you... So, since so many people changed their plans, something I didn't touch on. Other folks, maybe I did mention this out loud, I don't remember. Other folks will refuse to fly, refuse to drive,
A couple people are texting in saying they work with or know someone who will not go to work today. They're not going to take any risks.
I've never known anybody like that.
No, me neither. So since so many people change their plans or stay home, businesses in the U.S. lose an estimated $800 to $900 million every time there's a Friday the 13th.
Oh, my.
I wonder how they got to that number.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I wonder how legit that is.
It's the same as when they measure out how much money businesses lose during March Madness because everyone's fingering their bracket. How much money we make on Black Friday and things like that.
Yeah.
Who's got the calculator for this? But I guess that's why the word estimated is used in there. So there's for those of you who worry about such things and you don't know all the information, the maximum number of times that a Friday the 13th can occur on any given year is 3. But it's guaranteed to come up at least once a year.
Yep.
Would anybody here not make a big decision on a Friday the 13th?
No.
Like, Ashley, you just recently moved into a house, but let's say today's the day you had to decide if you're going to put in an offer. Would that affect you whatsoever?
I'd probably be more willing to do it because for some reason in my head, ever since I was a kid, since I was born on Halloween, I've always thought that Friday the 13th are lucky for me.
It's never been anything that's crossed my mind at all, Josh. Any superstitions about Friday the 13th. So I'd have to say no. Okay, I have to read this text. Somebody out there, Original Toolmaker Jesus, says there's a what's the trucking company, a delivery company is how I should say that, who intentionally avoids left-hand turns because they're inefficient. It's more efficient to take 3 right-hand turns, according to this listener. I
Googled it. CNN wrote an article saying it's also it saves millions of gallons of fuel each year.
How so?
No way.
I don't know. I guess you're never just waiting at a light. I have no idea.
I can't put that together in my head.
Let me see. I'm going to read more into the article here.
Okay. This today is the second Friday the 13th in 20 plus 23. The first one was in January. The next one will be next September.
Oh, wow. We got a ways.
So while Josh is reading up on this take 3 rights instead of 1 left scheme, I got a question for Ashley, Dana, and Wapple. Friday the 13th, finish this sentence for me. What do you think it is? Friday the 13th is the biggest day of the year for what?
Is it car accidents?
Okay, good guess. Car accidents is the words that came out of his yapper. Friday the 13th is the biggest day of the year for what, Ashley?
Deaths?
Deaths! She's going a step further.
Yeah.
Death! And Wapple, Friday the 13th is the biggest day of the year for what?
Oh, boy.
Anal sex.
Anal sex.
It's not. Oh. It's not. No, it's not anal sex.
Why would you even guess that?
Make a legitimate guess.
For it.
This is when you're going for it?
Yeah.
No, take a legit guess.
Well, how come your girlfriend's had it all week? It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, wow.
I was going to go with the car accidents, too.
I think I mixed car accidents up with the day after daylight savings time as most of car accidents.
Just for the record, Wapple, I'd feel pretty unlucky, too, if I was on the other end of anal sex with you. Car accident, no.
I don't know if I'd even notice, to be honest with you.
You're all...
I mean, does anybody notice?
You or anybody else, I guess I should say, Wapple. So don't feel singled out. All of yous are incorrect. And it's kind of a trick question because you would assume it was something terrible. It's not. Friday the 13th is the biggest day of the year for tattoos.
Oh, actually, you're getting one today.
Yeah, I am pissed off because I was really close to saying that, but I was like, I feel like that doesn't make sense.
Why are you getting one today? It just worked out that way, or was it on purpose?
Because of Friday the 13th. Most tattoo shops do Friday the 13th deals, so they'll do like $13 tattoos and stuff like that.
Right.
The one I'm going to, they do like $50, $75, $100. You go there, they have sheets of paper. You say, I want that one, and they put it on you.
Nice.
Some of that is mentioned right here. in the subject that there are deals up and down at tattoo shops, and I'll give you the reason why here in a minute. You're getting another tattoo?
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm sorry, I was in the middle of reading text here. Did you say where you're getting it? On your body?
I haven't figured that out yet. Probably, I usually use Friday the 13th tattoos as fillers on my left arm that I want to be a sleeve eventually, so.
And you don't know what you're going to get yet?
No, I don't know yet.
You're just going to figure that out willy-nilly?
Yep.
All right, so you knew this already. Friday the 13th has become one of the most popular days of the year to get inked up. It's like Black Friday for tattoo artists, and it's supposed to bring you good luck. Were you aware of that?
I did not know that.
Getting a tattoo of the number 13 is especially popular. Is that what you just said? You're going to get a Friday the 13th themed tattoo somewheres?
So all the Friday the 13th tattoos that I already have, the original design had a 13 in them, but I don't want that. So I just say, please don't put the 13 in it, and they still give me the deal, so.
Oh, okay. So usually you have to have the 13 in it for the deal, you're saying?
No, I don't think so, unless some shops do it like that. They might, because some shops might make it where you can't modify the tattoo at all.
Are you getting the tattoo right by my house?
Yes.
I'm gonna come see you.
Okay.
It's something I wish I could say. Unfortunately, I can't bring myself to say
He
it.
wants to be able to say it. He can't say it.
I want to be the type of person that would show up and support you, but I just don't think I am.
You went to her gig last Friday night. You stopped by and said
All right, fine. Secretly, I support her, but on the radio, I'm going to pretend I don't.
Sorry for blowing your bad boy image.
Whispering Eye Jesus said he was born in August on a Friday the 13th.
Oh.
And he weighed 8 pounds, 13 ounces. 813.
813.
813.
Oh.
813.
Like Smashley was saying over there, tattoo shops all over the country have special deals on Friday the 13th. I had never heard this before. Some of them do rapid fire type setups where you line up,
You spin the wheel there.
You pick a preset menu of simple designs. Okay. Do they have a wheel sometimes that you spin?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
The place Ashley goes does at least.
Yeah, they have one there constantly.
So this way, tattoo artists can fly through them as fast as possible. This is all credited to someone named Oliver Peck, who was married to someone named Kat Von D, and they were on a show called Ink Master. He organized this, Oliver guy, he organized a marathon tattoo session in Dallas on Friday the 13th, 1995. And then in 2008, he set a record by doing 415 tattoos of the number 13 in 24 hours.
Dang.
Locomotive Fixer Jesus said his furnace isn't turning on this morning, and he's tinkering with it right now. And now we're making him nervous it's going to explode.
Call the pros, man.
Oh, man. Okay.
This person says, getting my vasectomy today, nothing will go wrong.
Oh, that's so scary. They should just be closed today.
I remember back in, 20 years ago. I don't remember, were you involved in this, Josh, when we had the mass Vikings tattoo thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I'm so glad I had nothing, I didn't involve myself personally in this, but it was, I think maybe it was the 98 season when they went to the NFC Championship.
You're right, yeah, because it was right before the morning show.
And the offensive...
right before you and I started doing the morning show.
Right, and the offensive line made Gary Anderson miss that kick against the Atlanta Falcons. When they blew it in the 98 title game, everyone had such a massive erection for the Vikings in town that we did some fast whip-through tattoo thing with a local tattoo artist where if you showed up faster than a sumbitch, this tattoo artist would tattoo the Vikings logo on your shoulder, and he whipped through as many as he possibly could. One of my buddies went ahead and did it, and he regretted the living hell out of it.
What did he regret? Did it just
having a Vikings tattoo
just in general?
on his shoulder.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Up at the crack of dawn, Jesus, on the topic of people who are, so concerned about Friday the 13th they won't go to work. He said he's one of them. Well, at least he didn't want to go today. Not because it's Friday the 13th, because I hate my job.
Oh, man. That's great. All right, well, there you go.
This is why I wake up in the morning, things like that.
It has some of us terrified. Some of us couldn't possibly give a rat's ass, but it's got Ashley running off to the tattoo shop for another one.
What number is this?
Sorry,
Do you
Mom.
even know?
Oh gosh, yeah, I don't know.
You're not sure, huh?
Oh, come on. You know.
It seems like people get a lot of them know. They know their numbers.
You know.
It'll be number 11.
Number 11.
Yep.
Well, you got to get 2 more because it'll be 13.
Oh, yeah. I should get 2.
And then we'll all be terrified. Let's get to know somebody before we take off. And he's not just anybody, by damn. He's a retired Army officer. Every Friday, we get the jaw jack with a current or retired member of our armed forces. And each time, a donation is made in their name to Folds of Honor. We all have Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch to thank for spearheading this. It's been a hell of a lot of fun. It really has. Today, we welcome Lieutenant Colonel John Lovold to the show. Did I say the last name right, John? Lovold?
You said it right enough. That's what matters. I know you're talking about me.
Hello, John.
Good morning.
How you doing, man?
Oh, I couldn't be better.
What are you up to right now as we speak?
Well, just trying to figure out, my kids are on a school day for conferences, so I got to figure out where all those links are and be a good dad and make it out to all these conferences.
Oh, man. That's a lot of work.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, but sometimes they can be all right. You maybe find out some good and some bad about your kid that you weren't totally aware of.
And we hope it's mostly good.
Well, you'll be a busy guy. We appreciate you joining us this morning. You were nominated on our website by your good friend Neil.
Yeah. I had a opportunity to serve with him, and now I actually get to work with him as well. So, yeah.
As a firefighter?
Oh no, Neil is he's the CEO of the Minnesota Assistance Council for Veterans, the nonprofit where we work. He's not in the fire department.
Okay.
Yeah,
but you
cool.
are. But you are. You're also a firefighter.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, here's what Neil had to say about you. We'd like to ask more details about Minnesota Assistance Council for Veterans. We're looking forward to having you tell us about that. Neil said John is a retired Army officer with deployments in Iraq in 2009-10 and Kosovo in 2003-4. Since his retirement in 2015, you've been retired since 2015, John continues to serve as a member of the Excelsior Fire Department. Man.
Yeah.
Excelsior.
That is one of the prettiest towns in all of Minnesota. It really is. It's no Wyzetta, John. No, I'm a
It's
Wyzetta.
not Wyzetta.
No.
Yeah. We say that down here. We say it's not Wyzetta.
You better.
It's on the water tower.
But I absolutely love Excelsior. I love how some of the buildings are still so old and it's tucked in nicely there. Anyway, John is a member of the Excelsior Fire Department, as well as the Chief Operating Officer for the Minnesota Assistance Council for Veterans. Tell us more about the day-to-day operations of that, John.
Well, you got the whole title right. We call it MACV for short because it really is too long of a title. And our mission is ending veteran homelessness. So our day-to-day operations throughout the state are connecting with veterans who are homeless or at risk of becoming homeless and trying to find them stable housing.
It's a wonderful thing that you're doing.
That is a wonderful.
Very cool.
Also, yes, John, go right ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say it's a good mission, that's for sure.
Neil also wrote about you. You are currently the president of the John J. Vesey chapter of the Association of the United States Army and a member of the United Veterans Legislative Council. Also, John is just a really good dude. You got a lot of things going on at once.
I can only prove, the things that I'm actually signed up for. I can't prove that I'm a really good dude. Well, Nick, maybe I can actually prove that I'm a good dude because I think I've actually been to Vince's cabin in Hayward.
Shut your friggin' hole.
Nope, I have.
One of my best buddies, Vince, a couple times a year, we go to his cabin up in Hayward. We raise all different levels of hell. And Vince is one of the best guys. I'll go ahead and say this just because this wasn't always the truth, John. My buddy Vince, and sounds like also someone you're acquainted with, is one of the best and hardest working guys we have at the Wyzetta American Legion. And, of course, as folks know, we do a lot of different things for veterans and this and that, and Vince deserves a lot of credit for his hard work over there. I'm not being sarcastic at all. So how do you know Vince? How did you get up to his beautiful cabin in Hayward?
It was an acquaintance of an acquaintance. It was a snowmobile trip, one of those deals. We were out in the bunkhouse, did a lot of riding, broke at least one snowmobile, and man, I had a few Steve Weisers.
Yeah. That's unbelievable. What a small world that is. Maybe you don't want to answer this on the radio, but did you go to Phipps?
No, I'll answer that. Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
You're called darn right we did.
We closed her down.
It's not a trip if you don't go to Phipps.
No, it's not a trip if you don't go to Phipps, the hottest gentleman's club in the whole area. Well, that's really interesting. I'll be seeing him tonight. Should I tell him you said hello?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure he's going to remember me. I've only been there once, but when I put it all together and realized that it was the same person, I was like, oh, I got to mention that.
That is pretty cool. And wow, so you're doing great things for veterans, even as a retired officer. That's pretty commendable, John.
I appreciate you, thinking, that I'm worthy of being on the radio with you guys, and just getting the opportunity to mention MACV and everything else that I'm up to. That's great. I appreciate it.
Folks should look into that kind of thing. Before we let you go, can you leave us maybe with a buck wild story from your time in the service?
Well, I wouldn't call it a buck wild story, but I would call it a story of warning to people when they wonder whether or not I make good decisions. When I enlisted into the Army, guy across the table from me was like, "Hey, there's an airborne slot open. Do you want to go airborne?" My only question for him was, "Do I get to wear a beret?" Did not think about whether or not jumping out of airplanes was going to be dangerous. Just wanted to have the good, cool headgear.
Looking cool is important, though.
It is. It really is.
That is terrific. And by the way, I don't know if it was you or your friend Neil who nominated you, but they sent in a picture of you and one of your kids. I don't know how many kids do you have, John?
I got two. One's 16, and that's the one in the picture, so he's young there.
Oh,
wow. And then a daughter who's 12. And that picture is kind of a funny story, too, because he was supposed to go to school dressed as an old person that day, and I wasn't sure if I was honored or embarrassed that he wanted to dress up like me.
He dressed up exactly like you. This is what an old person looks like.
That is conflicting, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
John, a few people have texted in. You've got other people that said that they were beat to the punch by Neil. They also wanted to nominate you. One person said they were with you in Kosovo and you got them hooked on Family Guy. Are you familiar with what this might be?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those are good memories on those deployments when there's nothing else to distract you.
You brought some DVDs of Family Guy and got some folks hooked on it?
Oh, it's even more nefarious than that. When you're deployed, there's like a hard drive that everybody has access to, and they just dump everything on it. So you have access to so much stuff you don't even know what you're going to find.
That is very interesting.
That is cool, man.
That's great. Well, I'll tell you what, John, thanks for your time, and maybe I'll run into you at Phipps sometime. I'll buy you a couple of dances.
I'll get up to Wayzata at least once, maybe, and hit that American Legion and try to find you.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I forgot. If you're over there hanging around in Excelsior, we're not far away in Wayzata. Maybe we'll end up being bros. We appreciate it, John, and have a great weekend.
I look forward to it. Thanks, you guys, too.
Absolutely. If you have a deserving veteran or active duty service member you'd like us to highlight, tell us about them at 93x.com. And again, sponsored by Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch. Nice guy.
Yeah, very cool. Good dude.
Real nice guy.
For the love of God, everybody be careful today on Friday the 13th. Ashley, look forward to see your tattoo.
Thank you. I'm
Assuming
excited.
you don't bleed out on the table.
I won't.
You be careful, too, Josh.
Yeah.
For what? Oh, just in general?
In general.
I was like, oh, no, do I have to do something this weekend?
No.
Getting off the couch to maybe go get a snack
Well,
while watching TV?
I think I'm going to get ready for put some Halloween decorations out, so that could be trouble. I'll need a ladder for a couple things.
Oh, geez.
Nobody likes you up on a ladder.
Congratulations to Hey You with the Face, Jesus, who finally wrapped up his divorce. Hopefully that takes some stress out of your life. Happy birthday to Harley, turning the big 04 today from Dad. Happy birthday to some dude guy, Jesus, from BFD Jesus. 3 daughters, 1 son, Jesus. Text in to wish a happy 9th birthday to his daughter, Donna Jo. Happy birthday to Archer, turning the big 01 today from Grandpa, Savage Beast Jesus. And a happy birthday to the other bald-bearded Jared Jesus.
I've also got a birthday shout-out. It's for my girlfriend's brother, Debo.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is currently hiring experienced and entry-level HVAC technicians. Apply today at standardheating.com.